Hey, welcome back to the Crash Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's May 24th, 2026. It's a Sunday morning. We return at our usual time spot. Apologies, we're starting a bit late today. I think we're like 15 minutes late. Usually we start a bit earlier than this, so do bear with us. That should be slightly more. Yeah, that seems okay, I guess. How's everyone doing today on a Sunday? Earlier this week on Friday, we did a surprise stream where we streamed all of Friday afternoon. We streamed for like 5 or 6 hours. We got to play through the entirety of a campaign playing Protection Scarlet Witch against, again, the entire campaign, expert campaign mode of Rise of Red Skull. It was a lot of fun. It's a long stream. There are timestamps in it, so if you want to go by and watch like a specific fight, you can. And let me tell you, Scarlet Witch is not a character I've played that much of, which is a huge mistake because she's just the most fun. So yeah, that's Sunday, or sorry, that was Friday. Today's Sunday, so it brings us to something else. And because we're putting out content a bit faster than I was expecting to this week for a couple reasons, this is a deck that I haven't tested at all. It's in fact not even my deck. It's something we've net decked. And while I fishbowled a couple like starting draws to see what it looks like, it looks sick. So I'm excited to prove that to myself and maybe to you, and hopefully to you. Hopefully even to me. I mean, it looks good. Hey Rory, how's it going? I haven't caught in Crash Space stream in a while. It's been a minute. How you been? How's the beginning of your? I don't think it's summer yet, but the end of your spring. Hopefully you've been well. Hey, Proof Rock, how you doing? How's it going? I've been homesick in bed, watched a 5-hour campaign earlier today. It's night here. Hopefully that helped. Yeah, that landed with you well. I hope you're feeling better. Obviously, like being sick, no good. Having the ability maybe to just sit and watch something cool, that can help a fair bit. So hopefully you're feeling better soon, huh? Hey, Takuya, good morning. Hey, Sipping Tea Media, morning as well. Excited to see you play through the Collector. I have the Guardians box, but have yet to attempt any of the villains in it. Loving Rocket, though. Maybe my current favorite hero. Oh, very cool. There's a lot of people who really like Rocket. And I think the early heroes in this game, and I do think specifically the Guardians Most Wanted, is that what it's called? Galaxy's Most Wanted, excuse me, campaign box. It's a weird box for a couple reasons. Firstly, the characters in it are strange. It feels like the folks at Marvel Champions did not figure out exactly the sort of like rules and template behind a hero's kit. And so for the first couple waves, there's a lot of unevenness, whether it's because of power balance, whether it's because that we haven't hit that sort of like, you know, formula for better or for worse of what a hero's kit includes. The characters in that box are strange. Like Rocket Raccoon, I do like a lot. Has a fair bit of flexibility, especially now across different aspects as the card pool got bigger and bigger. But it's a character that has like literally 0 on tempo cards. It's only upgrades and nothing that does something that pushes you forward immediately. Everything is like, okay, this is going to pay off in like 2 or 3 turns. And that's weird. We've never seen really a character like that since. Maybe you could argue that Gamora is kind of there. Or not Gamora, Nebula. And then on the other side, you have Groot, which Groot just kind of fights around rules interactions and has this like feast or famine mode where you need to use your things, but if you lose your things, your growth counters, you can't do anything. And it also can be pretty frustrating the way it works with toughnesses, and some of the like forced response cancel damage cards in that box itself don't even work together. It's strange. Now, the thing on top of it, and you know, buckle up because we're going to start today, is that when it comes to the campaign or when it comes to the villains, the scenarios in this box is hard as nails. Very easily the hardest product that the folks at FFG have ever put out. And I do think the responses, and maybe to some extent you could have seen this on Friday, is that Rise of Red Skull is really easy. It's like one of the easiest campaigns for sure. Maybe not the easiest, but not that hard, even on expert difficulty. It's relatively straightforward. And so maybe as a response to that, I wasn't playing back then, mind you. People maybe said like ratchet up the difficulty, and they said, okay, hold my beer. And oh my God, is this campaign incredibly difficult? Most campaigns my partner and I will play through them casually on standard, where we pick up like the precons and we can blitz through it. Like we can do it. Most campaigns we have no problems playing through with the standard precons on standard difficulty. This one we had to replay certain scenarios multiple times. We had to make deck changes. We had to decide that, you know, okay, this is our strategy going into the game after we learn something. It's very, very difficult. And not so much Drang. Drang is relatively easy. Collector 1, the first collector, can be nearly impossible for certain decks. It just hates on decks that use like upgrades really quickly because it collects things that get discarded from the play area. And if too many things get collected, you lose the game. That's really hard to deal with, especially with the rules that allow you to only uncollect 1 card per round. Like sometimes you can't just keep up, you lose. Then we have Nebula, who is incredibly difficult and can either just snowball or do nothing. And then, of course, you know, luckily for the folks posting deck lists on Marvel CDB, we have Ronin, the hardest scenario. He just hits like a truck and hits you very, very often. It is wild, the difficulty of this box. And the difficulty of this box mirrored kind of more closely to Lord of the Rings LCG, where there's certain scenarios that present bespoke problems that you have to deal with by changing your deck, right? Like there's certain decks that can't beat Collector, and so you have to make decisions to change your deck to beat Collector. That is more akin to Lord of the Rings LCG, where they're hard scenarios that are kind of more like puzzle boxes that you have to solve. And the response to that was like, okay, no, that's way too hard. And I don't think a lot of people love this box. It's my least played box. In fact, these are the scenarios, the 5 scenarios that I have played the least by far, because yeah, they're a bit much. There's some really cool like homebrew corrections, if you want to call them, to some of these scenarios. I think Gideon's Gaming is the website that put out some like very simple, like straightforward ways to make some of these scenarios less annoying, especially when you play solo or 2 players. You can find those if you search them, but we're gonna be playing them as printed, so we'll see how much we get our stuff pushed in. I'm definitely feeling better. Hey, good to hear. Things are going well. T11 months until I'm Dr. Aurora. Fun but stressy times. I mean, the home stretch. I think you can do this. That's sick. 11 more months. That's not too bad at all. Hey, Nelson. Good morning. Happy Sunday. How you doing? It's a long weekend. Is it a long weekend in the States? Which weekend is it? Is it Memorial Day? I'm in Canada, so I don't really know what's going on over there. Hey, I just realized we have the same keyboard. Yo, PMK, good keyboard. I just picked this one up this year. This is the, what is it, Keychron HE10? The like special edition one with the wood on it. It's magnetic, which I haven't used that to any benefit, but it was good. It was not that expensive either. I'm Kenny Valley, different camera angle. Axu, how's it going? Are you not streaming yet? I guess it starts in like half an hour. A shout out to Axu and also Jai in chat. There was a big Netrunner stream yesterday. We had a huge tournament, about like 192 players playing Netrunner online. Axu streamed a whole bunch of it. I streamed the next like 7 rounds of it. Axu got to join for some commentary, same with Jai. And Axu will be streaming the rest of the top 16 starting in I think about half an hour. So that'll be like 4 or 5 hours of Netrunner if you want to go over there and watch that. It was a good tournament. Pretty interesting top cut. It's going to be today. Unfortunately, we're not able to join it. As soon as we'd done this, I got family in town, which I didn't realize at the time that I agreed to do the stream on Saturday. But yeah, I'm gonna be hanging out with some folks who are here. Hey, this is in the Showdown Jai. How's it going? Hey, Ironheart is still strong. Nolan, I believe so. I haven't played too much Ironheart. I've beat this box once. We played 3 rush decks and did it in a day. I mean, that's a good way to do it. I think like you can beat this. And again, people post their decks like, oh, this can beat Ronin, you know, whatever. The thing is like Ronin's not there's some problems also with the difficulty of this box. Hey, Scott, good morning. Oh, it is Memorial Day. Okay. I don't know what exactly that means in terms of what the holiday is, but what are we in memory of? Is it veterans? What are we memorializing? When it comes to Ronin, and actually a lot of parts of this box, they are difficult, but not particularly interesting. Like, I think Magneto is difficult, but actually gives you a lot of ways to interact with Magneto. You have this counter that kind of ticks up. You have some choices to make. You could also say Insabanur is difficult but interesting because the different forms change. You don't have a lot of control over them, but I like this a lot better. Like Apocalypse, like pure Apocalypse can be a difficult scenario, but you have so many levers to interact with it. The best part of this box, outside of the campaign mode where you can upgrade your deck by spending experience to add new cards, is the Milano, because there's a whole bunch of like these encounter cards that interact with the Milano and make you make decisions. So the Milano is like this pure upside card you get. It's just a roving first player wild resource generator, which is amazing, and it's for any player. However, there's going to be a lot of encounter cards and scenario cards that interact, that come up that say like, hey, you can exhaust the Milano to not do this bad thing, or you can choose to do this bad thing. And those are encounter cards we haven't seen that much. There's very few encounter cards in this game that give you a choice. I think the most common ones we have are obligations, and we got to make some good choices on Friday when it came to Scarlet Witch's obligations. But I like those. I think those are a way to make difficulty where like planning and forethought and all this sort of stuff actually pay off in very obvious ways. So I think the Milano is actually really sick. But generally, when it comes to what's his name, to the big guy with the hammer, Ronin, he just hits really hard, and some of the boost cards just have overkill. Like, it's not particularly interesting. So it's not the sort of difficulty that I really wish to like put myself against. Even like Venom Goblin is more interesting because there's like 3 side schemes that you have to juggle, and the deciding where the glider counter goes, you have full control over that to some extent, and that's so much more interesting than just being attacked twice around for like 15 damage. I don't know. It is the K10HE. I really like being able to dynamically switch to my PC to laptop by switching the connection methods on the side. Yeah. I do have the dongle. I accidentally, or not the dongle, the switch. I accidentally hit it to Mac mode every once in a while, and then I get really confused. But it's easy to figure out what's gone wrong. Hey, good morning, Dongle. How you doing? Been waiting for the stream. I wandered off to get here. Got here late. Good morning. Hey, we just started, so we're late too. So I'm actually just in time. So, are we talking about stream thumbnail pictures and you can check your DMs for a thumbnail crop that we spotted? Wait, is there a new one? So on this channel, okay, so on the Metro Grid, I do thumbnail photos, which shows cards that we played with on the stream, and then I like have a face. And I don't do like streamer face or like YouTube face. I just smile into the camera. And Jai and Axie have realized that some of my photos are so similar, particularly wearing this exact Netrunner shirt, that it looks like I reuse photos, but it turns out I don't. I just smile the same way so closely. I'm not going to be opening Discord now, but I'm getting roasted on how similar my face can look in different pictures. Hey, Dominic, great to catch you live. Welcome. Big fan here. Thank you. Enjoying your deck techs at the beginning. Thank you for your great work. Hey, that's really great to hear. And in fact, you're just in time for another deck tech. As much as this is not a deck I'm an expert on, we have not played one game with this, but we're going to change that in just a minute. What are the chances we can convince you to add the Kree Fanatic set to the campaign? The Kree Fanatic set, is that the custom one or is that just like the regular one that comes in? Because the Kree Fanatic set, it has like, it does have the bad boost icons, right? That's what I remember. Like Kree, oh no, I'm thinking Kree Militants, I think. Kree Fanatic is the homebrew one. The print and play version that FFG put out, right? I'm not sure what that is. But this Kree Militant set is really strange because it has a bunch of like big minions that only attack for 1 or 2, but they have huge stat boxes. But the biggest part of them is actually their boost icons. Like one of them is like boost piercing, one of them is boost overkill. Like it just sucks. Like it's just like, oh, bad boost card, I guess you die. Like I'm not into that at all. But then as actual characters, like as actual minions, they're not interesting. It's just like 6 health patrol. It's like, okay. But it's just the boost is like randomly, it can knock through your toughness and you can just take 8 damage. It's like, what do you want me to do about that? I can't make good decisions. Yeah, we'll be fine. Just played Ronan for the first time. Took us 3 times to beat him. In the second game, he wiped out Spider-Woman in the first turn. Just 12 damage, boom. Yeah, I know. He can just do that. Like, it's not interesting. I totally don't get it. And if you block with allies, he can randomly get overkill. It's like, it's not... Yeah, it might be obvious why I play Ronan very little. And it's not the difficulty. It's just like the difficulty is not interesting. Anyways, cope or something. All right, give me 1 second. Catch my breath. Man, Ronan's getting me worked up. No, I really don't think about Ronan much. This is Ironheart. Ironheart's a really cool hero. In terms of the character of Ironheart and Riri Williams, I think it's Riri, right? Not Rai, Riri, right? This character's not very old. I looked it up. She's only been around in Marvel since 2016. That's ridiculous. I thought this character would be much older than this, but she's like a young teenage version, kind of similar to Iron Man. I'm assuming she's less of a dickhead, but she is a genius inventor who creates these sort of mech suits, kind of like Iron Man, flying like Iron Man, and so on and so forth. In fact, Tony Stark shows up in one of these cards. I'm assuming Tony Stark is alive at this point in time, but we do have his Tony Stark AI card, which is maybe a bit of her inspiration, her help. Now, her hero is really neat because, oh, hello, Nanako the cat. You come to greet us once again. On your way you go. So just don't watch the TV show for her. I know very little about her. I haven't seen the TV show. I don't know if it's meant to be great or not. But she is a really cool thing because you get 3 hero cards and she is quintessentially one of these like setup heroes. It's very cool too because like Iron Man is actually a hero I like a fair bit from the core set, and he actually holds up, I think, in terms of like an interesting design, where Iron Man is just a guy who has access to some cool alter ego stuff, but once he's in a hero mode, he has like 1 hand size. His hand size is terrible. Can I find him? His hand size is awful. He has 1 hand size. That's obviously very, very funny. But then for each tech attachment or tech upgrade, sorry, you put into play, he gets +1 hand size to a maximum of 7. And so the idea is that you do feel yourself building your suit. And then not only do your suit parts give you better benefits, they give you active text and you can go aerial and then your cards get better with aerial. It's like a really satisfying thing. And generally in Marvel Champions, you shouldn't be surprised if you're watching this channel. I like building. I like upgrading. I like building engines. I don't like rushing. Event decks are okay. They don't always land with me. And this is somewhat an event deck. But that's another thing we have to do. We have to be building our hero. And because we have 3 different versions, this is Ironheart version 1, and we're going to be using things called progress counters. When we're in hero mode as an action, we can level up and we can remove 6 progress counters to ready Ironheart and make her Ironheart 2. Same thing on Ironheart 2, and it's going to be a bit harder for me to pull these cards up quickly. Actually, not that bad. Ironheart 2, her stats just go up. Similarly, we have to spend an action as a hero to remove 6 progress. Now we ready her, give her a tough status, and she becomes Ironheart 3. And then when she's Ironheart 3, well, you can't really progress her anymore, but you can remove progress as an action to do a non-attack 2 damage ability, which is obviously very, very good. And then her stats are goofy good. 3, 2, 3. Zoom out for the Nanako cat. Okay, she's slightly off camera. Still doing good. Now, one thing I do want to say is that I think Ironheart 1 looks the coolest. I don't care. I like this boxy metal thing. I think it's so much more fun than this Ironheart 2. Ironheart 2 looks silly to me. It looks like a bad leotard. Ironheart 3 looks good because that's like the recognizable design. But I'm kind of into this one. This one looks like you can take a bigger punch before it falls apart, and the pose is so much better. Ironheart 2 is like whatever, but Ironheart 3 will definitely get there. This is a really big deal. And from what I've played and what I've read online, because this is not my deck, shout out to the password is the password. The password is the password who posted this list and brought it on to Con of Heroes just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, you want to be rushing to Ironheart 3 as soon as possible. Now, we'll show about our alter egos. Our alter egos do technically change, but kind of barely. Our alter egos are still 6 hand size. And actually, that's a very important thing I forgot to mention. Our hand size also sucks. Ironheart 1 has 4 hand size. Once you get to Ironheart 3, you get 6 hand size. So your hand size also upgrades, which is arguably way more important than your stats going up. Because technically, our stat here, our 1, 2, 3 stat line, we're kind of incentivized to be defending for the first couple turns. We have 10 hit points, which is not the best, but it's not nothing. It's technically the second lowest. But yeah, our hit points or not our hit points go up, but our hand size goes up, and that's really, really important. Now, our alter ego abilities are all kind of the same. They just give you a different sort of like way to put progress counters in alter ego. So Child Prodigy says that as an action, you can spend a mental resource to place 1 progress counter on Riri Williams. I don't know how I sorted these. This is the next one. It's spend a mental or 2 resources of any type. Goodbye, Nanako the cat, for the same thing. And then the final version, I don't even know what it says. It says just spend a resource for a progress counter. So functionally, that's a resource for damage, because as soon as you're in Ironheart 3, all of these resource counters do are damage. There's no other interaction with them. They don't matter. It's just spending 1 card to do 2 damage, kind of like a plan B, except you can offshore it on an off quiet turn. Ironheart 1 kind of looks like War Machine. It's a good look. It's a good look. It seems functional, seems hardy. A nice little color scheme there, if you want to call it that. I think it's great. I still need to play Iron Man. I went wild buying up stuff when I got into the game in December, and I'm slowly working my way through everything. I kind of did that when I got into the game too, is I picked up more than I could play, but then I played it in linear order. So you have a weird thing if you're jumping back to the core set, but I think it'll be fun. Hey, Christian, how's it going? Love Ironheart, but never liked the art on stage 2. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the art on stage 2, but that's okay. We want to go to stage 3. We shouldn't stay here. But yeah, this one's the weird one for sure. It's the least intimidating version of her suit by a mile. How you doing, Christian? I have a fun current environment leadership build for Iron Man, very fun, called Acceleration Suit. Yeah, cool. Yeah, there's some good tech stuff in the game. Now, the big thing we want to do is we want to get counters on our suit. Now, spending a resource, a mental resource, and alter ego is possible, and it's probably something we want to be doing from my understanding from reading the deck right up. But Ronnie Williams is one of our most consistent ways, because in alter ego, we can either exhaust her to heal 2 damage, which is not bad, but getting a progress counter is really, really good. That means every turn cycle, we're guaranteed to get about 4 progress counters if we put all our stuff to it, like every turn up, turn down, kind of, because we can do our alter ego text Ronnie. Next turn we can come down, we can do alter ego text Ronnie if we want to, and that should guarantee us to get into our alter ego, into our next Ironheart relatively soon. We have 2 copies of Stroke of Genius. I love cards that draw cards. It's one of the most fun things because it allows you to plan your turn or just rip this early and see what you get, which is usually better. This is a mental resource, which is something we want because Ironheart cares about mental resources. But after you use this, you place a progress counter. That's fantastic. And you draw a card, which is obviously amazing. It's not a double, but it kind of is better than a double in some ways. And we have 2 of these, which is great. Now, her events are really good. And I'm surprised that her events are actually skewed towards damage versus thwarting. We have 3 copies of Photon Beam, and Photon Beam is at 4 damage to an enemy, and you place a progress counter. However, you defeat the enemy, you place 2 progress counters. That's really good. You generally want to be defeating an enemy with this. Of course, doing 4 damage into the villain, you will just do that sometimes. But 4 damage means, especially with your 2 attack, that you can knock out most most minions, and then as long as the final hit is with this, you should be in a good spot. Now, Flyover is actually probably a bit better in our deck because we're a Justice deck, and we're really good at getting side schemes. This is 2 for 3 thwart, which is not amazing, but you get a progress counter, and if you clear the thing you're thwarting, you get 2 progress counters, which is really easy. This is a Justice deck that goes out its way to grab side schemes, and a lot of side schemes when you play single player, let alone particularly also in Drang, I think, have 3 threat. So it's very easy for this to give us 1/3 of our way or 1/6 of the way to our final Ironheart while also removing 3 threat at the same time. Really good. We have fewer of these than this, which seems a bit weird to me. I thought it'd be the other way around, but that's the way it is for sure. Okay, now we have some cards that I honestly don't like. And mostly because I don't like these cards in our first cycle. And these cards are only really good once you're fully set up. But once you're fully set up, I don't know. I'm still not sold on these cards. It's interesting that her kit is actually very similar in some kind of obvious ways to Hercules, where you have these cards that are pretty garbage and you have a 4 hand size. But once you've kind of completed your labors and our labors are improving our suit, these cards become better, if not amazing, at least in Hercules. In ours, they're still fine. I mean, I'm not super excited about them. New Improved is a 3-cost skill that says choose X different options. So eventually when you're in version X, which is version 3, you do all 3 options. Again, X is their version number. You can ready Ironheart. That's fine. Your stats get better the bigger you are, so that makes more sense of later. You can give Ironheart a tough status card. I mean, that's fine too, as much as eventually we will have up to 17 health, so okay, I guess. And you can search your deck for an Ironheart card and add it to your hand. I mean, that's also not amazing. The Ironheart cards are good, but like the best Ironheart cards we have are the cards that you want to set up, not the cards when you are set up. Like this is the difference in Hercules, where Hercules cards also, just get cheaper, so that you get a 0 for 5 damage or whatever it is. But this card, I don't like it that much. Like I generally don't care to pay most of my hand for this card because I don't think the effects are that good. Technically, it's a 2-cost card because it replaces itself, but a 2-cost ready and a toughness should be exciting. I don't know why it's not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it will be once we're set up. And then we have Sector Scan, which is kind of more of the text that I want here, where this card, just like Hercules, becomes cheaper for every version we're in. So technically this is a 2-cost card as soon as turn 1, and eventually it'll become a 0-cost card, but its ability is useless. It says until the end of the round, you may look at the top card of the encounter deck at any time. Our kit doesn't interact with that in the slightest. Like this Falcon text, there is nothing in our kit that cares about knowing the top of the deck, the boost icons. This is literally information for information's sake. Maybe more interesting when you're playing multiplayer, maybe more interesting when you're playing with Scarlet Witch, maybe more interesting when you're playing with cards that care about it, but our deck doesn't. We will probably never play this. I don't understand why this is in her kit. The art is sick, the idea is sick, the card itself doesn't make sense. Now, these cards are very Iron Man pilled, and I like them. These are the sort of cards where, again, that's a really big thing with any of these decks that you build up. Eventually, we will just overwhelm the scenario with the amount of things we can do per turn. Hey, Joel, good morning. That's a really big thing in Marvel Champions. Every turn you draw a card, a hand of 5 cards, and this is how much output you have. And then the villain activates, attacks you or thwarts, and draws an encounter card or 2. And that's how much output they have. And your goal is to incrementally make sure your output is slightly bigger than the hero's output, or sorry, the villain's output. And that is eventually how you win. That's the thing where heroic is just more output from the villain. And so your output has to be a bit more consistent. And now you're not trying to get a lot more. You're just trying to get a bit more than the villain, because it's usually a bit harder when you're drawing 2 encounter cards. That's where these things scale well, because these are now just guaranteed output every single turn as repeatable upgrades, but their output also increases the further we build our suit. And so eventually we just overwhelm, where if the villain is putting out this sort of, problems every turn, we can solve this many problems a turn. That's the idea, right? Basic idea of Marvel Champions. Our output overwhelms. Photon Blasters is a tech upgrade. It gives us +2 hit points, which is fine, but a hero action says exhaust this to deal damage to an enemy equal to Ironheart's version number. Already on version 1, that is a 1 damage ping every turn. It's not an attack. It can beat guard. It can beat stun. That's already not the worst. Eventually, this will be a 3 damage attack every single turn. And this is what I mean. You can blow up a minion for free every single round. And Propulsion Jets is no different. It's exactly what you expect it to be. Propulsion Jets gives you 2 more hit points as well and allows us to remove threat. Now, we have to remember from this one is specifically not a thwart action, and a bunch of our justice cards care about thwarting specifically. But when these are on the table and we're in version 3, we have a 6 hand size, and every turn we do 3 free threat, 3 free damage. Like, yeah, we should win at that point. It's very hard not to. That actually, like, in some ways makes Marvel Champions the opposite sort of like narrative progression you'd expect to some extent. And that's why I really appreciate some of the newer designs we've seen with villains, where the villains actually scale in difficulty and tempo as the game scales in time. So the idea is, like, technically the worst part for us is on turn 1 to 3. And then once we get to turn 4 and we maybe even are in a version of our 3rd suit, the game gets easier, right? Like, it shouldn't do that all the time. Like, the game should get easier once you set up with your upgrades, but I also wish that the villains kind of scaled with you so that it's not just a cakewalk and the hardest part of the game is the first 3 turns, and then turns 4 to 8 are not that hard. Again, if you look at some of the designs like Enchantress, we do see that, and I think it's a much more healthy way to do the game as opposed to being like, oh, you have to survive round 2. Hopefully you didn't play cameo. Anyways, that's that. That's good. Ironheart always looks so fun. I should play her at some point. She is really quite fun. And even once you're set up, it is like a nice little power fantasy, which is great. Hey, Albert, how's it going? Awesome Metapher, yo nerd. Look what tea you drinking today. I don't know if that is a saying. Otherwise, we're drinking coffee. How you doing, Metapher? I think Sector Scan exists as a defense card. You get to know when the damage is coming. Yeah, but I don't care. We have 3 defense. We have no defense events. Like, if it's a big boost, I guess we know if we don't die, but like, just put an ally in the way. Like, I totally hear you. It's so you know not only the encounter card, but you know the boost card. It's just like, if the boost is a 0 or 3, there are so few board states where it'll actually change what you're doing on that turn, right? Like, you always have to play around, okay, this could be a 3 boost, so I could die, so I could defend. And I mean, just play an ally, I guess, but yeah. This coffee looks like a BT. It's a lighter roast. It's a lighter roast for sure. Okay, and then our last 2 cards in our kit is Brawn. Brawn's technically good. I struggled to get a lot of good value from Brawn. Brawn only has 3 health, so you are incentivized to like justice this up, or sorry, leadership this up and like play sidekick and all that sort of stuff. Because Brawn says when Brawn is exhausted, he gains resource, generate a mental resource once per phase because you can't exhaust Brawn again. Technically, if you can find ways to exhaust Brawn, and there's a whole bunch of cards that say like exhaust your ally, use their stats in a different way, you can kind of keep Brawn around for longer, and Brawn has good stats. Technically, Brawn is a 4-cost ally, which means it's your whole hand, let alone technically unplayable in version 1 when you only have a 4 hand size. But once you do have Brawn down, he is kind of a 3-cost card, but very, very expensive. I'm not rushing Brawn out. I might be wrong about that. Our cost curve is relatively low, but usually if we're playing Brawn, it's our whole hand, and that doesn't excite me. I'm not sure why. Now, lastly, we have Tony Stark AI, and this card's sick. This card's really good. I'm surprised it's not an alter ego action, but I'm glad it isn't, because this says action, exhaust Tony Stark AI, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand, and discard the other. That's just really good, right? Like, it rips through your deck. I don't think this is enough discard to play discard synergy cards. Like, well, you can always play Lockjaw, but like Digging Deep and White Fox and stuff like that. It's also funny how this kind of like mimics sort of the text on Penny. Penny Parker. Is that her name? No, not Penny Parker. Petty Potts? What's her name? What's Miss Potts' name? But Miss Potts is a similar like look at 2 in your discard pile kind of thing. But this card's just really good, and you want to fire it to find your best option of the next 2 cards, which is much better than drawing a single card. Can you see the YouTube comments? Yeah, I can. Wikipedia, what's going on? Oh, I missed your comment there at the top. Excuse me. Sometimes I do just miss comments, and if that's the case, it's not like for any reason. I just I was kind of doing my own thing for a bit there. Apologies. Yeah, Ironheart is in fun and multiplayer since the table can feed your minions or side schemes and defeat them so you can get progress quickly. Stage 3 is crazy strong. Hey, Greg, yeah, I imagine it's also like Nova, where if everybody works together, you can get there. But our deck is going out of the way to like give us so many ways that we can consistently set up our thing, and that's kind of the justice cards here, which is really fun. Would be a bit to do a villain run today with the amount of villains in today's card pool? What do you mean by that, Christian? Would not do a villain run today? I just finished an amazing campaign of Mad Titan with the Justice Rocket Raccoon deck built around basic thwarting. Was able to thwart 15 every few rounds and Brains over Brawn shined with 7 damage each. A Rocket has the one really weird card where it's like thwart ready yourself, right? Which is just a strange text. And it like is akin to a thwart event unless you're boosting your thwart stat itself. It's not something I've ever like leaned into, but yeah, it's a really weird card. There's no card formatted like that where it's like do a basic thwart, ready yourself, you get +2 thwart or something like that. I forget what the name of the card is. I'm adapting to Ironheart. Singer version 3 is a +1 thwart, like how Rocket Raccoon gets it from upgrading his kit. Yeah, I could see that. Pepper Potts, thank you, not Penny. Yeah, kind of like Pepper Potts, where it's like, well, not exactly. Kind of like Iron Man. Like I think Tony has that text actually. Is that more accurate? Like Tony has that text. Look at the top 3, add 1, discard the others. Yeah, it's like Tony's text. Of course it is, right? Petty Potts is my favorite stomp and clap band. All right. Okay. Cool. Had such a bad experience with her in meetups. I'm so harsh when someone's sitting in alt mode all game and meetups. I get spicy real quick and I'll chirp at them. Yeah, like we are going to sit in alter ego a bit. This technically a deck had more confuse in it before I changed some of the confuse out of it. Confuse is really good because you can say an alter ego, and the more you can say an alter ego, the more you can get counters. I'm way more interested in getting counters while being in hero mode, and that's why we have good reasons to be in hero mode too. So one way or another, this card is busted. This card is straight busted, particularly in solo play, because it just says draw 3 cards. Just about every card in this game that says draw 3 cards is busted. We're playing a bunch of them. 3 cards is not just +2 resources, but it's just different cards. So you don't brick your hand. You get a flexible hand. You can respond to things. Now, the downside is we get a side scheme, but we're a justice deck. We don't mind side schemes, and it's really easy for us to put side schemes to work for us. And you just need to pay attention to how many cards we have in this deck that say draw a card. I've only fishbowled opening hands, but I've played turn 1s where we've drawn an extra like 9 to 10 cards. Which I would love to get that because it's a really fun start. But I have drawn starting hands where if you fishbowl the starting hand, you draw 9 to 10 extra cards. We have so many cards that draw cards. And one way or another is a nice way to get a side scheme to guarantee you can clear 3 threat and then get 2 counters, and that's great. Card's really, really good. I'm assuming this card is a bit worse in multiplayer because clearing a side scheme is something that's easy for one person to do. But when the numbers get bigger in multiplayer, it's less great because then people have to work together usually on that, and then it's a lot more investment. Skilled Investigator is also really good because when you clear any scheme, clear a side scheme, we draw a card. This doesn't clear that we clear it, but we should be clearing it. But this is, again, another card draw card. Speaking of card draw, this is clear the area. We have 1 thwart on side 1, and this removes 2 thwart, and if it finishes it, we draw a card, which technically is card draw. On top of Skilled Investigator, that's 2 card draw, and just us together, we're guaranteed to clear 3 thwart schemes. So yeah, that's really quite good. Chance Encounter is not a card I play a lot of. Shout out to Daredevil. It's a 0 cost card that you attach to a side scheme, and when attached side scheme is defeated, you can search your deck and discard pile for an ally. This also functionally draws a card. Now, it's not card advantage, but you're trading 1 card into another card, and our deck specifically has a lot of cheap allies, even a 0 cost ally, to make sure that we can push ourselves forward in a way that matters. Looks like the creator of this deck, the password is the password, really likes this card, just because specifically there's a couple allies in our deck that are really strong, that we can play really well, but it's not a card I'm a huge fan of, but I'm probably wrong about that. We also have Turn the Tide, which is nice. We have to watch out. This says after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, it's a 0 cost, deal 3 damage, which having incidental damage when it comes to justice is really nice. But you have to watch out because our propulsion jets is not technically a thwart, so we actually have to do the thwarting, so our upgrades won't work. But a 0 for 3 damage is really good, as much as there's conditions attached to this, but hopefully not really harsh conditions. Face the Past, right? Again, draw 3 cards, ready yourself. It's just nonsense text, and our Nemesis is not bad. Notably, our Nemesis has 4 health, which means she gets knocked out by 1 photon beam, and then we just get 2 counters. Sick. And she only does something after the villain phase ends. So drawing her during the hero phase, she literally has no text. 4 health, shouldn't be hard to deal with her. We have 2 attack. Almost all our allies have 2 attack. Should not be a stress whatsoever. Again, I have drawn 9 to 10 extra cards on the first turn. Champion's Mobile Bunker. I've been liking this card more than I thought I would, and that's because we also have, unfortunately, some cards I don't like in our kit. But this is draw 2, then discard 2, so the opposite of Scarlet Witch's Alter Ego, which means you can just get rid of the cards that you don't want for the cards you do want, and of course, we are Champions traded. Now, our toolbox of allies, and some of these allies I don't think were amazing choices on my part, but we're trying out at least 1 new ally here. A lot of these came from the original deck list linked below. So Grant Ward, 0 cost. And if Grant Ward does the bad thing, we have a lot of mental resources in our deck to be able to deal with Grant Ward doing the bad thing. But at a minimum, Chance Encounter can always grab Grant Ward because he's 0 cost and you can get him on the table. Wasp is an ally I forgot existed, and that's largely because I don't play Wasp because she's champion locked, but she's really good. 2 cost allies are obviously very good. She can ignore the guard and patrol keyword and crisis icon, which is not bad text for solo play. She can thwart twice for 4, or she can attack a couple times a wee bit. Generally we'll be thwarting with her, but she's not bad, as 2 cost allies tend to be. Wiccan, also really good. 2 cost ally with 3 health that does incidental damage after thwarting for 3 times. Like, that's just good text. Again, any 2 cost ally is really, really good. And then we get into the wild stuff. Moon Girl is absurdly good. We are both a champion and a genius, so we can play this on either side. And when we play her for every mental icon, and we have so many mental icons on this deck, we can draw 3 cards. Again, we have drawn 9 to 10 extra cards on our first turn while fishbowling, and Moon Girl's a really big reason. The deck write-up talks about like using Chance Encounter aggressively to grab Moon Girl, and I get it. It makes sense, because Moon Girl is functionally a free ally that draws you a new hand as long as you're throwing out your mental icons, which you should be. I think some of the cards I don't like New and Improved, have mental icons. Success. So we'll use them that way. Now, I added a copy of Prof X to this deck because it is a mental icon. It gives us Confused, so we can jump down to Alter Ego, which this deck really wants to do, and it has Fine Text where it can take a hit. The original version of the deck had Dazzler in the slot, and Dazzler is a card I don't like that much. She's very expensive on 4 cost. Admittedly, we don't have the greatest resource engine once we only have 4 hand size, as much as we want to spend time in Alter Ego, but she's not bad because she confuses. I just kind of like Professor X a bit better for some tempo, as opposed to the longer value engine of Dazzler. Now, the other card I swapped out was a Sonic Rifle. I traded this for Hawkeye. Why? Because Hawkeye Justice is one of the coolest allies they've printed in a long time, and we have enough allies to make his text make sense, but I just want to play more Hawkeye. I'll be honest, this Hawkeye doesn't make a lot of sense in this deck, as in it's just like a value card. It doesn't actually swing into what the deck is going to do. But after our allies thwart, which is what they will be doing, notice how their attack stats are not fantastic. We got to do 2 damage to minion. That can weaken up some minions, so we can knock the minions up with our with our 2 attack stat or a photon beam. But Hawkeye's just a fun card and a really good card technically too. So we'll try that. Now, the original list had 2 sonic rifles, and a big reason is we want to stay in alter ego to be able to like get our counters on us. I'm on 1 sonic rifle and a Professor X, if we want to say that. I could see why 2 sonic rifles is better. Also, you could play what's it called? The van, unscheduled something under surveillance. Like you also could play the van. These are both cards that do the similar thing, which give you the ability to stay in alter ego safely. Under surveillance is really good in solo play. Lastly, the cards is endurance. I don't think I like this card. We have 14 health and we have a whole bunch of allies, so I'm not convinced we need this. Also, it doesn't have a mental icon, which technically you can't care about, but I'll take the deck author's word and we'll try this out. This is not a bad card. Like it's a healing 1 for 3, which is still really good, and you can just get this out of your deck cycle, so your deck is thinner functionally, which is nice. Then of course we're playing energy, genius, and strength, and when this card came out in this pack, we are a genius, so we had the mental resource generator, which we really like for alter ego, let alone almost all our other cards like Grand Ward and Moon Girl and stuff like that. So of course we're gonna play this, and that's the list. Oh, that's not good. Hold on 1 second. That should show up. I didn't mean to hit that button, but that button is meant to do something. So it's meant to be this. Oh yeah. High evolutionary is still there for some reason. Anywho, that's the list. Again, I want to shout out, it will be obviously linked in the description, but that's this list that I saw called Riri Goes Back to the Future from the Password is the Password. There's a good write-up. I changed some small things because of taste, and some of them are just because I want to do something different. They might not be optimal. Again, I do have to build around solo play. If this was brought to Con of Heroes, I'm assuming that's because of multiplayer play. So we might have had different like concerns when putting the deck together, but sick deck. Notably, we played the deck that we're meant to play today on Friday, so I'm just grabbing something that looked interesting, and I wanted to play some Ironheart, so this all lines up. It's called Turbo Draw. This deck we draw a lot of cards in this deck. What is the phrase you keep using when you draw 9 to 12 cards in your first hand? What does it mean? What do you mean the phrase? So like, very easy for us is to mulligan. We have 6 cards in hand. We play one way or another. We draw 3 more cards, right? We clear one way or another with clear the area under surveillance. We draw 2 more cards. That draws us into face the pass. We play face the pass. We draw 3 more cards. Like that's what I'm trying to say, is that there's a lot of times where I fishbowl. Oh, fishbowled is what you're trying to say, right? Fishbowl? So I don't know where fishbowl is the term exactly from and what it exactly means technically, but fishbowling is a process that shows up in a lot of competitive card games in which you kind of simulate your opening hand, right? So I fishbowl all the time. And it's a fun thing to do in both Marvel Champions and also PvP games, where you basically shuffle your deck up, or you can do this online on Marvel CDB by hitting the draw button. And then you just say like, okay, I'm gonna draw 6. And then you just simulate as if you're playing against a fish. I'm not exactly sure why they call this that. And you simulate like, would I keep this hand? And if I keep this hand, how would it play out? So let's fishbowl this hand. We have the remove 3 progress card. We'll keep that. We'll keep the double. We don't want Prof X. We don't need another flyover. We don't need a chance encounter. We keep a draw 3 card. Okay, so we'll replace this. This is our hand. And like, how busted is this opening? Yeah, we're gold fishing. We're fishing for hand. I'm not 100% sure where it's from. But yeah, look how good this hand is. And then you fishbowl by playing the first turn out. So like, okay, we can't do really anything we care about in alter ego. So we would start by doing one way or another. We'd get a side scheme. We'd draw 3. Okay, we can't play another one way or another. We'd play Skilled Investigator. We'll do double for flyover. We'll clear the side scheme. We'll get 2 counters. We'll draw with Skilled Investigator. Okay, we got Ronnie. That's great, as much as we jumped up to alter ego. Okay, from here, we want to do something with our basic activation. So we'll attack the villain. Then we'll play Face the Past. Notice how many cards we're drawing. If we draw like a Moon Girl here, would continue to pop off. But you basically just like emulate and simulate mulligans and your first turn. And then you just pretend like, oh, pretend I was playing against Claw. How would my first turn go? Yeah, people know it as gold fishing. Yeah, I've heard that too. I call it fish bowling. I'm not 100% why. I just run simulations. Yeah, like you can do this there's buttons to do this on Marvel CDB, but I've been calling it fish bowling. Gold fishing? No, hold on. Okay, hold on. We might all be right. Card game fish bowling. Yeah. Okay, you can't see this because of the formatting. Hold on, we'll go over here. Can you read this? No, that's not right. It says it's a team-based guessing game. Okay, so I've been calling that for years, and no one has bothered to correct me. So we're gonna continue on. But that's the term I'm using. I always will do that, especially if I have some downtime. So yesterday I was doing some casting and streaming, and so between rounds, when I had some downtime, I would just shuffle this, draw 6, and then play my opening hand. I'm not trolling for real. Fish bowling is a real term. Whatever. I don't care. Goldfishing is playing with no opponents to see how the deck works, what it tries to achieve. Yeah. So fish bowling is setting the environment for the goldfish. All right, let's get some progress counters. We'll shuffle that better. This goes here. This goes here. We are Riri Williams. Riri. So my overlay doesn't have a smart way to advance between her different stages, so it might be a bit more clumsy today. Begin the game with this card. See your other identities aside. See insert. Child Prodigy, we can spend a mental resource to place a progress. I can't tell if we're always meant to be doing that. I think we are, but it sucks because generally all our card draws in hero mode, and I want to see our card draw before I do this ability. So I might like not do this for the first round. I will do this whenever we come down to Alter Ego and we have an extra card, but of course we will. It's obviously very important that you complete this task as soon as possible and make progress, but I'm not excited to like have a card that draws 3, spend a resource on this, then draw 3 and see what our hand can do. Because if we're missing one resource, especially a mental resource, and we draw like Moon Girl, I'll feel pretty bad. In card games, particularly collectible and trading card games like Magic the Gathering, fish bowling refers to playing a game or practicing a deck by yourself without an opponent. Infectious Zombie citation, please, because that's exactly where I am coming from. If you fish bowl with a deck including Shark Goal, you better call it shark baiting. Oh, no. Yeah. I'm with Zombie. You see, fish bowling's a real term. We all are from different cultures, but we play the same card games. I swear I'm not the only person to call it that. That does sound like an AI answer, though, so it might not be right. I Googled it. Phenomenal. Okay, we've all learned something today. He was correct the whole time. I think that's the most important thing we've learned today. All right, we're playing against Drang. Why? I mean, Drang is fun. I think the collector won't be disastrous because we don't have that many upgrades that we like detach, which is something you don't want to be doing against the collector. Technically, a lot of allies is bad against the collector, but events are totally fine against collector. Andre smoked a fishbowl before he started. Whatever. That should be enough shuffling. All right, we're off. We're playing against Drang. So we have Terrestrial Invasion. I want to say Drang is weird because Drang always feels like it ends way sooner than it should. And that's because Drang has like 7 hit points. I don't know what went on with that number. They were just like, make Drang super easy, make everything else super hard. Then we'll have a balanced box. But the Brotherhood of Badoon has 2 minions. They're cool minions. Mostly it's going to be about this like Badoon ship environment. We have to play with the ship command, which gives us our beautiful friend, the Milano. But then there's all these cards where we have to make decisions of how we spend the Milano. Now, Bandit Badoon is sick for being a 10 encounter card set that's only minions. A whole bunch of them have like pseudo surge. Some of them have like really bad like quick strike kind of attacks where there's like an assassin that if it attacks you just gets +3 attack. Very cool set, but that's going to be adding mostly the minions. They're going to be kind of attacking our ship. I have no explanation of what's going on for the lore's sake, but otherwise it's a fun scenario for sure. I'm not going campaign. Nah, campaign is way too much, and campaign makes it so much harder, and to the point where like even in the final campaign, they're like ignore the campaign card. It's way too difficult. So we're just gonna play as it is, and it's mostly because we don't have enough time to play the whole campaign today. I know that you want to play the campaign to like get the cards with experience, and those are kind of cool, but yeah, we just don't have time to play the campaign. Okay, we'll play the campaign for Metapher. We're going to play the campaign. We're going to start with a side scheme. It's called Badoon Blitz, I think. All right, so the campaign just puts cards into play. I should open the campaign document, but this says hinder 3, so it comes in with 5. It's victory 1. When defeated, each player may draw a card. So it's nice there's a side scheme on the table, I guess. We can't clear this immediately. It's a bit difficult, but I think that's all the campaign asks from us. I feel like you folded under pressure. You know, you would call it folded under pressure, which maybe makes me sound weak, but I also thought about it and I thought like, actually, that's a pretty good idea. And I thought like together we come up with better ideas than solely he comes up with ideas. I think that should be commended. Are we on standard? No, we're on expert. No, I'm not playing expert campaign. No shot I'm playing expert campaign. F that. The other side of this is worse. We're playing on expert, but I'm not playing with the expert campaign rules. Like, no. This campaign box is too difficult as is. Like, I don't want to play expert campaign collector where it's like you start with 3 cards in the collection. You can only remove 1 a turn. No. Not a shot. I just want to get some experience so I can upgrade stuff. That's all I care about. I don't care about the difficulty of it. Oh, we're on standard 3. We're on standard 3. Yeah, we're on standard 3. I wanted to see our nemesis because our nemesis is good fun. And I have a cup of coffee to spill on that, so we'll be ready. Yeah, this campaign has its own difficulty where actually it does have standard and expert cards, which is not always common. First boss from the hardest box on standard 3 that's widely considered the second hardest, the standard set. Your life is just way too peaceful, isn't it, bro? Wait, so what do you mean? The first boss from the hardest box plus the standard 3? Do you think standard 3 is harder? Against Badoon set, you should keep a one attack minion the whole game to shut down the Badoon Surger. Yeah, I think you should. The boarding guy, which there's like 3 of them. You really want to keep somebody engaged with you. Good Tiger tech. Yeah, he fishbowled under pressure. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Expert campaign, expert Ronin. I mean, Galaxy, what's up? Play the legacy style and shred up the campaign cards as you progress. You can get this one. I don't think this box sold that well. You can get this one. You can find this one. It's in terms of the legacy boxes, this one and Mad Titans are the easiest to find. I don't think this box moved that well. Okay. We've shuffled this way too much. What are you doing? Terrestrial Invasion. Okay, hold on. I need to get the thing. Standard 3 goes off too quickly for me. I like Standard 3 a lot, but I like seeing our Nemesis, and our Nemesis is not a disaster. Okay, so sorry, I don't have the campaign PDF on the screen, so we're just going to look at this together. So basically, we're going to generate units. Every experience or victory, we earn is a unit. We can use those to go to the store to buy cards to add to our deck. The cards range between costs, I think 1 and 6. Some of the cards are really good. Some of the cards are not very good. The better cards are not always worth more points, which is kind of interesting. So we'll get some experience and spend it, which will be good fun. Kind of like Arkham Horror. Setup says each player records their identity. Done it. Revealed the Badoon Blitz. Done it. Shuffle the Badoon Headhunter into the counter deck. I forgot about that. But Taffer, this was a terrible choice, and I blame you. We have to add the Badoon Headhunter. It's a 7 health victory 2 villainous guy. And then when you defeat it, it just makes the deck worse. Like, the campaign mode for this, where it's like, oh, did you defeat the Badoon Headhunter? Okay, cool. He's still here. Also, he brought a friend. Did you defeat his friend? Okay, they're both still here, and they brought a bad side scheme. It's really weird. There's like no benefit in defeating it besides the victory, but then it just keeps coming back. I guess that's the benefit. All right, put the Badoon ship into play. We get the Milano. We'll flip this over. That's a part of the Badoon Blitz. That's blitzing. Terrestrial Invasion side 1B. Comes in with 2 threat, gets the rare 2 threat per turn for play. And first, force response, and this is fun. Oh, the bottom part's more fun. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, we have to resolve the Badoon ship's charge up. The Badoon ship charge up is nowhere near as bad as I remember it being, but we'll have to keep that in mind. It's easy to forget that. But I love this first player action, exhaust the Milano, remove 3 threat from the scheme. I want to say this is my favorite part about this campaign, is that it gives you difficulty, but then it gives you ways to mitigate the difficulty. We can exhaust the Milano to remove 3 threat, and that's really good. Like, just functionally having a 1 resource for 3 threat is a great deal. But the Milano is also a wild resource generator you can use on any player at the table. I think these sort of decisions are sick. The Milano is one of the best parts about this whole campaign, but I do wish higher difficulty just made you make better choices more consistently, and this is the sort of thing that gives you better choices to make. I like it a heck of a lot. This is Drang. He has 7 hit points. I'm kidding. It's 14. When revealed, we put Drang's spear into play because we have to. Force response, after Drang schemes, you also resolve the Badoon ship charge up ability. Attacks for 3, and with the spear it'd be 4, and then schemes for 2. So the numbers are pretty high, as much as his health is not. Now, Drang's spear we probably should get rid of. Gives him stalwart, so he cannot be stunned or confused. We do have a bit of confused in our deck, of course we do, and it's a weird combination of resources. 1 mental, 2 physicals to discard this as a hero action. Has 3 boosts on it. That art does not look like Drang. I don't know if that's Drang or not. We have Badoon ship. Badoon ship is an environment, so it's just going to stay here on to the left. This thing says when we are forced to do the special. Oh, that's not good. Why did that happen? 1 second, please. Oh, I think I hit the pedal twice. I need to make this better, but there's like some downsides that I can't always make this better. So we have to do a zoom in. Yeah, I have to not hit the pedal twice. Should be better. Okay, so whenever we do the special, it says place 1 barrage counter on here, and then if there are 4 more barrage counters here, deal 2 indirect damage to each player and remove all barrage counters. So every like 2 turns will take 2 indirect damage. It's really not that bad. But then there's a bunch of encounter cards that will charge this and fire it on different like cadences, so whatever. Hey, Nitro, greetings for Germany. Nice to catch a stream. Hey, how's your Sunday evening? Welcome to the stream. Gute Nacht, I guess. Is it nighttime already? Kind of. I don't know how to say good evening in German. Guten Tag. I guess that'll do. You survive for more than 10 rounds. I will bow down and worship you as the absolute god of this game forever. Write that down. Survive Drang for 10 turns? I think we're going to win in less than 10 turns. Standard 3 can reveal your quick strike nemesis during the villain main activation. I know it's double strike. Oh yeah, that's my least favorite part. I usually don't play standard 3 when I have a quick strike minion or a nemesis. We don't, luckily. Been loving the campaign streams. You're by far my favorite content creator. Thank you, Kenya. Just got into the game back in December. Almost have the whole collection built out. Yo, let's go. That's a hard thing to do. Every day that gets harder and harder. So well played. And thanks for the kind words. Welcome. Your intro deck guides are super helpful. Looking forward to more streams coming up. Yeah, we're gonna have some more streams on the channel, that's for sure. So I had said this earlier, I guess. Yeah, the bad news, I got laid off for my job just last week, so we have a lot more free time for the next little bit. We have severance, we'll be all right. But yeah, we'll be streaming more at non-regular times. So if you want to join, hit the subscribe button, hit the notify button on YouTube. You'll know when we go live. I can't tell you when exactly we promise to do that. We'll be figuring out what that schedule looks like. But yeah, I shuffled our deck 1,700 times. We're playing on standard with the expert cards. We're playing standard 3 expert cards, standard campaign. That's the only thing that we've kind of capitulated on. All right, with that all the way, let's actually play the game. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we have some very explosive mulligans. Our idea is to always mulligan to the cards that draw. We can draw up to like 9, 10 extra cards. So the best cards that we want to draw on turn 1 are Face the Past. We want to draw one of our 2-cost, remove 3 threat or deal 4 damage cards. We want to draw one of our one way or another's. That's all we really want to draw here. And we want to just explosively get cards on the table. Best shuffler on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Playing an Invisible Woman deck and just have empty sleeves on the table. More time to fishbowl until my friend, if you stream on Twitch, folks can drop their Prime sub or maybe help growth if they got Prime. So for my other channel, I co-stream on Twitch and YouTube, and I'll be honest, all the viewership is really on YouTube. Twitch has a different culture, but like chat here is really healthy, but YouTube has like terrible discoverability. I'm aware that Twitch has like ways to monetize, but actually if I go onto Twitch and co-stream, I'm technically not allowed to I can't merge the chats. So that's an issue. It's like if I stream on the Metro Grid, I have Twitch chat and YouTube chat merged in a single chat so you can see everybody from any platform. You're not allowed to do that. It's against terms of service if you're going to monetize your Twitch channel. So yeah, I'm just going to stick it to YouTube for sure. All right, Ronnie, that's great. Ronnie in the list is something we're meant to be mulliganing for just because she is, every turn cycle progress. So that's good. I think we'll almost definitely keep her. It'd be weird not to. One way or another, that's exactly what we're talking about. We want to draw these cards because this draws 3 cards. The side schemes are not very bad in this encounter set, let alone the Milano can clear them. But ideally, we clear them with whatever our card is that, removes 3 threat and gives us 2 progress counters. So far, this is amazing. Stroke of Genius is phenomenal. It's a cantrip that gives us a progress token, which means that this 2 is technically 2 progress. So if we draw one way or another and we draw into the card that gives us 2 progress if we clear a side scheme, we're going to have 4 progress, technically even 5 progress if we want on turn 1, which we cannot ask for better. It's actually possible for us to clear our first phase, our first version on turn 1 if we draw Face the Past, the thing that does 4 damage as well. Hawkeye, we won't keep him. I'm sorry. He's in the deck because I like him, but he's not a turn 1 priority setup. Strength is honestly a maybe, because like strength is obviously good, but we have no 2-cost cards in our hand so far, but we'll probably draw one with one way or another, so we should. And finally we have Wiccan, and Wiccan's not bad, but Wiccan is not a card that will draw us 3 more cards. And right now the best card that we could draw into, the one thing we have to watch out is one way or another is a limit 1 per turn, so drawing the extra copies are totally redundant as much as they have a mental icon, which is good. But we want to draw into Face the Past, we want to draw into Skilled Investigator, and we want to draw into our hero events because they're really good. Even our hero upgrades are really good. So we'll mulligan our 2 allies. They can come back with Chance Encounter, which is good. All right, 5. Yes, I told you it's going to happen. We're going to be drawing at least 6 extra cards with Stroke of Genius. It's 7 extra cards this turn. Could not have scripted this better. And Sonic Rifle is fine. It's a bit expensive. We probably won't get it down, but who knows what we're going to draw into. That's it. This is going to be absurd. This is going to be really quite good. I don't think I've mentioned him in this poor. Gotcha. Did you know I discovered your channel through the Super Eye Patch Wolf? What? Discord way back when? They are an LGBT YouTuber and streamer. Someone shared it who played MC. A Super Eye Patch Wolf Discord. I have no idea what that is. That's sick. That's really, really cool. I have no idea. I don't know if I know who that is. I might know who that is. I'm not sure. I'm glad to see Marvel Champions cards also float to the top of the sleeves. They usually don't. I just haven't played Riri in a long time, so I had to re-sleeve her with the new sleeves last night. So they are not like sunken in just yet. Super Eye Patch Wolf is a popular YouTuber. Oh, I'm not familiar. That's super cool. I'll look into that. That's sick. Okay, so just finished a 2-handed game versus Zola. Man, it was tough. Gotta go watch the stream, feel better. B-Mix, you did good. So the one thing that I don't know whether we should be doing is whether we should be doing our alter ego text, right, and spending a mental resource. My gut instinct is no. Spending a card for a charge doesn't feel amazing when we already have like 2 charges built in. I think no matter what, we're going to do Stroke of Genius for Ronnie to see how things start. But again, we're going to be drawing 6 more cards in just a second. So I could see us spending a Sonic Rifle and just say we're charge maxing and just, what do they call, progress maxing, and just progress max here. So let's start with Stroke of Genius with Ronnie Williams. So Stroke of Genius, we're going to pay for Ronnie. Stroke of Genius says after you spend this card, place a progress counter. So that's going to be the purple counters. We want to hit these in increments of 6. So we're at 1 so far. And then we draw a card. That's useless, so we might commit that. And then Ronnie Williams she's now in play. As an alter ego action, we'll just exhaust her to place a progress counter on Ronnie Williams. So we're at 2. We can do a 3rd counter. I will, because we drew an extra card. Now we could use that because we're gonna be drawing more cards and we just need more resources, but we're gonna go away and progress max. So we're gonna put a 3rd progress on Riri. So we're halfway to our 2nd stage already. Next, we will flip up because there's nothing to do in alter ego. And we're going to start by playing one way or another to go search the deck for our choice of side scheme. And there's some pretty mild side schemes in this deck, so that shouldn't be a really big deal. After that, we'll draw 3 cards. This should not whiff. So apologies to look through the whole deck on turn 1 is a bit much. We have Blockade here, which is just 4 threat and a hinder. We want to get for the 3 threat cards because we have a lot of cards that thwart for 3, as much as we could thwart for 1 with our hero, and then we're hopefully drawn to the thwart 3 card. Oh, wow, there's a lot of minions. This is 3 threat. First player can exhaust the Milano to remove this. This is 3 threat and amplify icon. That's already a really good start. Best case scenario would actually be removing 3 threat and a hazard so we don't accidentally draw it at a bad time. Amplify is not the best one to draw at a bad time because if you draw that during a double encounter and then get activated, it has active text. Then this is a 3 threat force response. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, resolve the Badoon ship charge up ability. We'll keep it simple and we'll just go for the 3 threat with the amplify on called spatial positioning. Notably, all these cards also have this like panic text. This is, go ahead and exhaust the Milano to clear 3 threat from this, which instant clears them. The only thing with that is that technically means we haven't thwarted it, and a lot of our cards care about thwarting the side schemes. So we'll see. Yeah, this is like, again, we've fishbowled this turn, he says confidently, many times, and this is not absurd. I don't know Super Eye Patch Wolf from 3 hours Garfield vid. Wait, the pipe skit? Okay, so this is here. So now we have that in play. It's an amplify icon, whatever. One way or another finishes, we draw 3 cards. 1, nice propulsion jets is a good setup. 2, sector scan, the useless. We want to find one of our events. 3 is energy. Okay, so this hand doesn't do too much. All we want to do here is before we decide anything big is we want to basically exhaust ourselves, because once we're exhausted, then we can use Face the Past to ready ourselves. Otherwise, we waste a ready on this. We don't obviously have a way to defeat our enemy when it shows up, our nemesis, so we're hoping that we draw. We have 3 copies of a card that can do some damage, or just having a 2-cost ally would maybe get there. So we're kind of rolling the dice on this. We have the exhaust remove threat card, so we should be relatively good here, but ideally at this point, we wanted to draw into an event that removes 3 threat to get 2 progress, or do 4 damage to remove 2 progress. There's 5 copies of those cards. We're going to be drawing over there. Hey, Michael, thanks so much. Hey, thanks for the super like. $5. Hey, sorry about the layoff. Your work here is genuinely top tier and it shows. Keep pushing. Good things will come your way. Thank you for the kind words. I really do mean that. That's very much appreciated. That's not, again, the super likes are very, very nice. Thank you. Let's go. Hey, Andy, good morning as well. Love all the space theme artwork on the counter cards. I'm known as non-space enjoyer, which is kind of a funny sentence, but yeah, no, I think they're okay. Okay, so thanks again, Michael. What we have to do with our hero is basically use a basic activation because we're going to ready in a moment. Attacking for 2 into Drang is actually a lot of Drang's health, which is kind of funny. So we could play border control. We could just swing damage if we wanted to. Thwarting this for 1 or this for 1 doesn't seem to matter. We want to get this down to 3 for us to hit the breakpoint, but technically we have the breakpoint off of propulsion jets and then thwarting with our 3 thwart. So I will just thwart this. Fine, we'll exhaust the thwart for 1, and then we're just going to play Face the Past. Now, with Face the Past, you have to remember is that we cannot attack the villain anymore, but we go get our nemesis, and our nemesis is pretty weak, he says. She's in play. It's Lucia von Bardas. Lucia? I'm assuming it's Lucia. It sounds... Well, Von is like Dutch or German. Bardas sounds Spanish, though, so I don't know exactly how I meant to read this. 4 health. When Lucia von Bardas has a tough status card, she gets +1 scheme, +1 attack, and after the villain phase ends, she gets those. So we really do need to knock her out. The rest of Face the Past fires though, so we ready ourselves, which is great, and we draw 3 cards, and this will be removed from the game. So we're really looking for one of our events here. First, nope. Second, nope. Third, okay, that's good. That's exactly the card that we needed. No joke, that was perfect. So we are actually going to get to 5 on this turn. If we drew the one that said remove 3 threat, we would actually go to side 2, version 2 as soon as turn 1. But just to keep this simple, we're going to do, I guess, energy, because we might be able to remove the spear. And we'll do photon beam, which is perfectly lines up. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. So Lucia von Bardas existed for as long as possible. And we get 2 progress counters. We're on 5 of 6. Sick. Like, so good. Such absurd Ironheart. It's a shame that we drew to every one way or another, because we definitely want those for later. And now the rest of this hand is basically just set up as the best you can. We will probably just get rid of spatial positioning with the Milano. We can thwart for 1 and attack for 2. It doesn't really matter. Playing the propulsion jets is going to be important, but I think here we have some extra cards in hand, so getting rid of Drang Spear is probably worth it. So that would be 2 physical and a mental. That leaves us with 4 cards, which is slightly awkward. So we probably just do like play the propulsion jets, and we can hold on to the sonic rifle so we can jump down next turn safely, and that will guarantee we'll hit our 6th counter. That's good. Other options, we can use the Milano, maybe play another card, but I don't think we need to. So we'll spend 2 for propulsion jets. This card's good. There's also a world where we hold on to one way or another because we haven't drawn to any of our 3 thwart cards, and that's really good. So this thing gives us +2 hit points, which is nice. So we're up on 12, very healthy. And we can exhaust this to remove threat equal to Ironheart's version number, which is only 1. So we'll just ping this one for a wee bit. We'll spend 2 physical and a mental to get rid of Drang Spear. And then we'll just hold onto the sonic rifle. He no longer has stalwart, which is good, but it's one of the 2 confused cards we have left in the deck. We will thwart for 1. I guess we should be attacking for 2, let's be honest, but thwarting for 2 doesn't hit the breakpoint on this. This doesn't really matter. We'll just attack for 2 into the villain, down to 12 health, and we'll pass. That was turn 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We drew 9, 10, 11, 12 cards. Like, it's nonsense. It can't be nonsense. And again, any of these cards that draw 3 cards, it's a total shame we drew all of them, because now our deck has no really good draw cards anymore. Oh, excuse me. We'll exhaust Milano to clear this. We'll hold on to the sonic rifle. Might not be right, but feels okay, and this is removed from the game. Let me catch my breath. Welcome to a Sunday morning of Marvel Champions. Face the Past can attack the villain. So true. You live today, villain. Yeah, we literally, that's why the card was there. I thought I would remember. Of course I didn't. Good catch, Void Orca. How's it going? Can we use Milano to remove threat, right? We can. We'll do it from that side scheme for sure. And that's it. We'll hold on to this. We'll pass. Cannot attack the Drang. Coward. Def stacking is the answer to the no chump block meta, and I think it's also healthy to play against my Knight of the Sentinel Project Wide Awake. Yeah, I like the encounter sets that make you not want to block with allies. I think they're cool. Now, the one downside, because we couldn't hit 6 counters in a single turn, is that we only have 4 hand size. So Photon Beam is the 4 damage one. Tony Stark's AI is worth playing. Maybe we'll just jump down and say you can scheme, I don't care. And we have Moon Girl, who is also very much worth playing. The issue is if we use Moon Girl, that will be the entirety of our hand. But in theory, we could actually do Moon Girl with Milano and maybe draw enough cards to be able to do something else. So we'll see. So this is a hand that would really like 1 more card in it. But of course, every hand is a hand that would like 1 more card in it. All right, Terrestrial Invasion. We do the text. This goes up to 3 because it's 2 per player. And then we have to put a charge up counter on the Badoon ship. And now the villain Drang is going to attack us for 3 in a card. We have no incentive here to block because we're at full health. Our 3 defense is actually our best stat, that's for sure. But like, I'm good. I don't think we need to. So we're attack for 1, 2, 3. Boost on Dark Design, so that's good. That's the advanced equivalent in Standard 3. So we have to put 1 counter here on Pursued by the Past. When it has 4, we go get Lucia von Bardas and all her cards, but we just take 3 damage. This says, after Drang Ship, after he schemes, so no active text, we draw 1 encounter card. Did you play one way or another twice? No, this one started because it's the campaign one. We only played one way or another, unfortunately. We tossed 1 to give ourselves a progress counter. Might order some pizza soon. You want some? I have a lot of Indian food in the fridge. We have family over, so I'm good for now. But I do appreciate you checking. We have a lot of food. When a villain hit for 6 and you can't chump block, exhausting has to be worth it. With a 3 defense stat, usually, not always. But the thing is, like, a 3 defense stat is usually equal to your recovery stat. The thing is, like, you don't always have access to recover, but they're kind of equivalent, right? So it's weird. Fuck. No, wait, this is good. Oh man, standard 3. This is actually perfect. So each Nemesis minion activates. If no, you put 3 here, and that means we're gonna go get Lucia von Bardas again. And that's fine. She'll have a toughness, but we have a photon beam. Sorry for the curse that got us. So she's here again. She will get a toughness because the villain phase ends, so she's slightly harder to kill. But at least we have a nice target here, and we can still jump down. So she has 4 health toughness because the villain phase ends. We also get all her cards, which I'll be honest, I don't know what they are. But yeah, that's kind of like Shadow Passing on turn 1. That's not very likely in standard 3, but I'm not actually that concerned. Rule by force. So when Lucia von Bardas is in play, this gets a hazard icon. When Lucia von Bardas is not in play, this gets an acceleration icon. Pick your poison. We'll get 3 cards shuffle into the deck. Campaign mode, gotcha. I haven't played GMY campaign yet. Parts of it are really cool. I haven't played in a long time either, I'll be honest. I think the last time I played through Expert this campaign, I was playing with Spider-Ham just to like feel good about myself. It was good. My Marvel comic shelf collapsed. What a day. Yo, good luck with that. Hopefully everyone's okay. This is why I don't care for standard 3. I mean, that is, okay, hold on. That is less likely to happen than standard 1, right? Like for that to have happened, we had to draw a boost card and then Evil Alliance. Which means what happened right now is very much less likely than just drawing Shadow of the Past in standard. So this is actually a reason why you should like standard 3. Now the downside of standard 3 is in every game you're more likely to find your, like standard 3 is designed so that you're more likely to find your Nemesis set, but you're less likely to find it immediately. So like there are going to be games, like most games that are long enough, you will always find your Nemesis, which is not the case when you're playing standard solo. Like I don't, this proves the opposite, I think, of what you're saying, is all I'm trying to say respectfully, right? Because the chance of this happening is super, super low. The chance of this happening in standard is actually like way higher because you just have to draw 1 card. This was like draw a combination of 2 cards. How's your Pursued by the Past card? Was it one of the cards caught in the Great Coffee Disaster? It's not that bad. Technically, yeah, but you can't really tell, honestly. It's a bit like folded at the top, but it seems fine, right? Like I'm not going to replace it. Seems good. There's like a bit of a thing there, but I think Batroc actually got the worst of it, which like serves him right. Okay. The villain attacks for 6, but your defense is 6. Thanks to all the new protection upgrades. Now it's better than the recovery. Yeah, we'll talk about some of the new cards after this game because we had a couple spoilers, even a spoiler yesterday, and I don't know how I feel about that card, but we'll figure something out. Okay, so we're really incentivized here to Photon Beam Lucia von Bardas. Now, the very important thing is after we attack and we do this to get ourselves up to our 7th counter, our text on our hero mode readies us. So we get a free ready in this, and then we go up to 5 hand size, which doesn't really mean at this point we have to go down to alter ego if we don't want to. The problem is we want to play Tony Stark's AI and we want to play Moon Girl. Like literally there's everything we want to do on this turn. The Milano generates a wild, which is really good, as much as the wild removes 3 threat, which is really good. This will remove 2 threat, which is great because we'll be upgrading, and it does threat equal to our version number. So this hand is kind of tricky. There's a lot of different things we can do with it, but the Photon Beam is the most important, as much as we have 1 more in our deck. If we play 2 for Tony Stark's AI, we're guaranteed to draw a card. That card plus Photon Beam and the Milano like could deal with it, but I don't think we can risk it. Yeah, I don't think we can do everything we want here. It's likely that we just play Photon Beam and then just hold on to Tony Stark AI because it is one of our better cards. It's just like a free draw 1, a filter draw 1 every turn. But I'm pretty sure we're just going to jump down to Alter Ego and say that Drang won't scheme for 3. And I think Drang won't scheme for 3. So we're going to attack for 2 into Lucia von Bardas. I think this is just going to be an acceleration icon because when she's not here, it's an acceleration. I'm not going to mark it with the symbols because I have to dig them up. It'll take longer than we wanted to. And then we're just going to do 1, 2 for the Photon Beam, which is going to do 4 damage to Lucia. She's knocked out. And then we put 2 progress counters on it. So we're up on 7, which is more than we need. There is technically some reasons why you don't want to upgrade right away, but we're going to be leaving a bit of value through propulsion jets. And I think we want that value because we can actually clear this as well. So it's going to be a really good turn. So now we're just going to use our hero text and we're going to upgrade. So we're going to spend 6 counters. We'll go down to 1 counter. We'll ready and swap it with version 2, which is visually the less pleasant version. But welcome to Ironheart 2. We've leveled up. Again, now we can spend 6 more counters to ready her, give her a tough. But now our thwart is 2 and our hand size is +1, which is fantastic. This puts us at 2 thwart, which means we can clear that acceleration. So we're going to use the Milano to remove 3 threat from this. We're going to thwart for 2. We're going to thwart for 2. We're going to knock this out. We're going to hop down and just run away. So we're going to hop down. Down here, we're going to use Ronnie Williams because of course we will. We're not going to heal because we're pretty okay at this point. We'll bring us up to 2 progress counters. We'll hold on to Tony Stark AI and we'll pass the turn. So as much as that was a shower of the past turn, not too bad at all, right? We'll draw 5 more cards. Clear the area. Quite nice. It can line up well with the Badoon Blitz. New and improved. So again, I don't love this card. This card allows us to take 2 choices. So we play 3 to get a toughness and ready ourselves. I mean, that doesn't feel good. It's probably better than I think it is. We have a cheap Wasp. Justice Wasp is a kind of cool card. We have a skilled investigator. We always want to put that on the table because there's just free card draw as long as it doesn't matter who defeats the side scheme, actually. And then we have Grant Ward, who's as cheap as an ally can be. We really want to draw into an Ingenuity sooner than later, or Ingenuity, because that's the one of the few cards we can only play on Alter Ego. Okay. It happened to me my first times playing Standard 3, turn 1, 2, 3, bad luck draws. You are much more likely to draw your, okay, so there is a curve. You're much more likely to find your nemesis on turns, I think 3 to 6 than you are in Standard. And you're guaranteed to find your villain by like turns 6 to 8. So you're right. You are technically more likely to find your villain on turns 3 to 6 than playing Standard, but you're less likely to find it on turns 1 to 3. Like there's a weird curve when you compare the two because yeah, you will always find it, but it's harder to immediately find it if you know what I mean. Okay, so Terrestrial Invasion. So this goes 2 threat. Drang is going to scheme. We have to put a counter here, and we'll put a 3rd counter here, just because Drang says after Drang schemes, put a counter here. I'm just going to do that so I don't forget. So we're scheming for 1, 2. Star on Badoon Engineer. This is one of the 2 minions in the deck. Resolve the Badoon ship charge up. So this will hit 4. So we're going to have to take some direct damage, but this only goes up to 4 so far. So then Drang schemes, which I've already attached the counter. So then we have to do the Badoon ship text, and Badoon ship says when it hits 4, take 2 indirect damage. So we take 2. No decisions to be made. 1 encounter card. Rogue Vessel. Okay, this one has Surge. This is a fun one. This actually one does like simulate dogfighting, which I like. So when the villain phase ends, deal 1 damage to each player. And we have to exhaust them all and spend 2 resources of any type to discard this. 1 damage a turn is not that big of a deal, but that's an expensive card to get rid of. It does feel like we're in ships, which I like a lot. The Badoon Sentry. Okay, so just a big idiot. 6 health. Retaliate 1. We're not amazing at dealing with 6 health, I'll be honest. So the Retaliate's likely to fire. Oh, sorry, 5 health. Still kind of difficult. Notably, if we get our attack upgrade, it does not do an attack, so you don't have to worry about Retaliate. All right, this is not needed to be here. Rogue Vessel fires, we take 1 damage. So we're getting a bit knocked around. So we're down to 6. All right, it's back to us. So we have no obvious card draw here. We could spend the Milano to remove 3 and then clear the area to draw a card. If we clear this with Skilled Investigator, we also draw 2 cards, because when you clear this, we draw a card, and then when we clear with this, we draw a card. The one big decision here is with Ronnie Williams, what do we do? But I honestly think before we make any bigger decisions, we're just going to spend probably New and Improved and Wasp to play Tony Stark AI and see what this can draw us. Because we want to see and make our decisions before we commit to anything else. Because we could probably recover for 2 here. If we draw our last Photon Beam, then maybe we will. I think we can leave the Rogue Vessel for a turn, but we're getting a bit hurt. Actually, maybe we want to keep Wasp instead of Clear the Area, because Clear the Area doesn't line up really well with any of these things, but this is a really cheap hand, so I don't know. I like the cheap hand. You just have to watch out because Grant Ward can't defend, and we probably have to defend next turn because we are taking some damage. All right, so we'll use Tony Stark AI. So we'll look at the top 2. It's a flyover. That's remove 3 threat, get 2 progress, which means we actually can progress to side 6 this turn. And then we have a genius, which obviously a genius is good. But I think we're going to take the flyover, and I think we are going to progress to our 3rd side, which gives us a toughness, which solves a lot of our problems. This is turn 3, and I think we're going to have fully upgraded our suit. Again, turn 3, I think our suit will be fully upgraded. At the end of last turn, did you use Ronnie to heal? No, we went for the counter, which I think is going to actually pay off here. So what we can do here is we can use Ronnie for a counter. We can pay a mental for a counter, and then we can do flyover, which is 2 more counters. I mean, seems good. I think seems good. Technically, the Milano is more valuable here. I don't think we're going to deal with a Rogue Vessel, but if we pay this, the thing is I want to also use Skilled Investigator. So I think, yeah, that's the only way we can get to 6. Because if we use flyover and we remove the side scheme, actually this will draw 2 cards, which helps, but yeah, we have to spend the mental here. So I don't think that's ugly. It's like we're 1 card short here because I want to play Skilled Investigator to draw 2 cards, but then we have to play flyover. But then we have to spend a mental down here. So I think we're just going to spend the Milano and hope. It's not very likely that we draw 2 cards and they're actually super playable because we've seen all our doubles. I think we've seen every single double so far. Energy, might, and strength. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe we can draw into one of our unique resources. I forget what they're called. So here, we're going to play Skilled Investigator, which is a bit greedy. Arguably too greedy. Maybe it's better that we don't do that. Yeah, this is a bit greedy. We won't play Skilled Investigator. We've already played all our chance encounters, or one way or another's. So we're going to instead throw out Clear the Area using Riri's text to give her a counter. Technically, actually, Riri's text is this text, which is slightly different. It says spend a mental or 2 resources. That's not going to really change our decision. Then we're going to flip up. If we can spend this, we end up drawing only 1 card. 1 card is not that useful, but it means we're going to remove 3 threat off of that. We've seen 1 advance so far. No, let's not do this. We're going to spend the Milano to do the counter, and we're going to hold on to this card. We're going to use the Milano to charge us, and then we're going to play the Skilled Investigator, because I think it's more likely that drawing 2 cards will give us a play. Drawing 1 card is unlikely to give us a play. Then here, this will ready ourselves. So when we get Ironheart 2 to Ironheart 3, we do ready, so we actually can do something here. So we're going to go just thwart for 2. We could attack for 2 into this thing, but it doesn't really matter. We kind of want to keep a 1 health, 1 attack guy engaged with us as much as we are getting vesseled up. So we're going to thwart for 2. And then we're going to spend Flyover, which Flyover removes 3 progress counters. And if this, 3 threat, if this removes all the threat, we put 2 progress counters. So we are now at 6 progress counters. We're going to clear Badoon Blitz, which does give us victory, which is important. So we're playing with the standard version because I didn't want to play with the expert version. And it says, when defeated, put this in the victory display. Each player draws a card. So that's in our victory display. We draw a card. We're now going to use Skilled Investigator, which also is going to draw 1 more card. Ooh, that's a good card to draw. Actually, a really good card to draw, because we're technically still in the window that we can play Turn the Tide. So Turn the Tide says, now that we've drawn it, says after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a side scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So let's ping the Badoon Sentry for 3. And this new and improved in our hand, which technically now has access to every single mode, is not going to do anything. We'll now do our hero text on Ironheart 2, and we're going to spend all the counters, and we're going to jump up to Ironheart 3. So we have fully upgraded all our way to our ultimate mode, and it only took us 3 turns. Now at this point, we should overwhelm the villain, hopefully, if we don't die. We ready, and we get a toughness. And our stat is now 3 thwart, 2 attack, and now our progress counters are just worth 2 damage, kind of like a little version of War Machine, which is great. Don't forget Retaliate. Yeah, you're right. We should take Retaliate 1. We should go on 5. Cool. Speaking of Retaliate, we can now technically knock this out, and we won't take the Retaliate, which is good. So we will, because what else we're going to do? We'll attack for 2, knocking out the Badoon Sentry. That was such a good top deck, because now we don't take the Retaliate as much as we kind of wanted a 1 health minion. And now the Propulsion Jets, one more time. The Propulsion Jets is 2, 3 threat removal a turn. Just absurd. Just nonsense. Now, there's some part of us that says we should hold on to New Improved, because New Improved is a 3-cost card that readies us, gives us a toughness status, and searches Ironheart's deck for a card. This is the last copy of it in this deck cycle, and clearly we're at full power, so we should want to play this when it is as good as it says it is. I'm going to hold on to it despite not thinking it's that important. I do think we want to draw into a Confused card, because we probably have to jump down once and recover. I think we haven't found Professor X yet, which is the only Confused card we have left in their deck, because we've already seen our Sonic Rifle, and we also did throw out our 1 +3 health card. We have 1 or +2 health cards in the deck, but I honestly don't think we hold on to this. Like, I don't like this card that much. It's 4 cards to grab a card, so we'll have a couple resources left over to play it. We get a tough status card, or we ready Ironheart. I'm not going to hold on to it. I don't know. I don't like this thing. We'll pass. Good turn. Great setup. Again, 3 turns in, and we're kind of the biggest build we have, besides we want our next upgrade, which is, of course, right there. Yeah. Oh, that's how it is. So now we're doing 3 damage a turn that doesn't deal with Retaliate +2 health. We need to play this. Clear the area. That's nice. We should be able to fire that if we want to. Photon Beam. So if we draw any sort of minion, we'll be able to knock it out. Chance Encounter, if we find a side scheme, this means we can guarantee that we can go get Professor X. Another one is not super useful. They are max 1 per side scheme. And very importantly, our Ironheart 3 has 6 hand size, which is easily the best part of this. We've drawn Brawn. I'm not the biggest Brawn lover, but we could play Brawn if we don't use our resources in any other meaningful way. And he is a resource generator and has big old numbers. That's it. This goes to 2. We put 1 counter on the Badoon ship, and Drang is going to attack us. And we're not going to care because we have a toughness, so 3 in a card. Who cares? 3. For 5, Love to Not See Exhaustion takes off our toughness. 1 encounter card. Special Delivery. So this is going to try and exhaust the Milano. So either you may exhaust the Milano, or if you do not, the villain attacks you with +1. I mean, Yeah, pretty easy decision. Now, the downside for this is we cannot get rid of the Rogue Vessel, but generally the Rogue Vessel will do less damage. So again, these decisions are really quite fun. Now, when the villain phase ends, we have to deal 1 damage to each player. And the only way to get rid of this involves using the Milano. All right, cool. From everything they've shown of the new card so far, Nightcrawler can just take Echo's Precon and run with it. Yeah, for sure. But you probably have enough damage considering the new card, right? And he's saying Brawn could be cool if you build around it in leadership. I like the design space of having a valid text while exhausted. Yeah, it's surprising that we don't have valid text while exhausted on any other card besides Brawn. Citation needed. And that is really cool. And again, with Sidekick and leadership, you can make him really big and find other ways to exhaust him for value, which is also really cool. Unfortunately, outside of that, he's just like a kind of clumsy, expensive research generator, which like, whatever. Okay, Photon Beam doesn't have text. Well, it's like 4 damage and 1 counter, which is technically now a 6 damage card. And that's something we have to remind is that every time that we get a counter, it is now +2 damage because we can just spend a progress counter as many times as we have progress counters to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So Photon Beam has now just become as 3 for 6, which is kind of where you want it to be anyways, let alone its divided damage. And one of them is not an attack. So all we're going to do is what we can do here, and then we're going to jump down. We're just going to always start with Tony Stark AI because it gets us the most information. So we'll look at 2. Okay, we found Ingenuity, which we are jumping down, so we'll probably play that, and we don't really need Flyover. So that's easy. So Ingenuity is 2 cards. We can spend Ingenuity's resource at a minimum to give us a counter when we jump down to Alter Ego. We definitely want to be playing Photon Blasters. So we actually can play Clear the Area, which Clear the Area draws a card, and then we can just dump our hand. So Clear the Area is easy. We'll just play Clear the Area. Doesn't look like we'll be sending a lot of damage here. We're just going to recover. Clear the Area removes 2 threat. If it clears the last, we draw a card. We drew a Stroke of Genius, so we actually have more resources than we think we do. That's good fun. Okay, so we'll just do some damage. There's no reason. That's the only downside is at this point, there's literally no reason to hold on to the counters. That is a thing that I kind of wish is like, I wish new and improved, you could reduce the cost by spending counters. Because that would be so fun. Because right now, all the counters are damage. And that's fine because damage ends the game. But that's all the counters are. You don't make any more interesting decisions. You can't spend 6 counters to ready yourself. I just wish there were more interesting ways to spend counters once Riri was set up. Okay, so we're going to do Stroke of Genius and Brawn, I guess, for Photon Blasters. I guess we wasted our Propulsion Jets, but I mean, we drew a card. It might have been right just to use the Propulsion Jets to clear the threat and not drawn a card and then just played Brawn in hindsight. That probably was correct. We'll play the Photon Blasters. We're using Stroke of Genius, and when you use it, you place a progress counter, you draw a card. So it's not going to change whether we play Brawn, but I guess when you play this, I don't know if you have to pitch all the cards at once. I'm not sure if you can pitch the Stroke of Genius, see what it draws. But no matter what, I think we should do this because there's some world that we play Brawn. And we're going to get the Photon Blasters. Photon Blasters gives us 2 health, which is nice. And we can exhaust this to do 3 damage, which of course we will. So we'll just do 3 damage to the villain. It's not an attack. Okay, this is this hand. We can use this hand to play an Ingenuity. We can hold on to Brawn to next turn, which seems fine. Professor X is in our bottom 3, which sucks. We could have drawn that there. We will probably recover. We could attack for 2 here, which is a fair bit of Drang's damage, but I think we should just recover so we can be as dangerous as possible. We can also recover off of Ronnie. Like now Ronnie either becomes, do you want to get 4 damage every cycle, or do you want to get more health? We will just flip down. Here we can play Ingenuity, which requires us to be a genius, which once we put the suit on, we are no longer clever. So we'll play the Ingenuity, which just generates a mental. We'll use that mental on Riri's text, which now Riri's text just says spend any type of resource to get a progress counter. We will recover for 3, which puts us at 9. I think we're just going to use Ronnie to heal 2, because if anything, we're probably going to die to damage more than we're going to die to not having enough damage. So that's fine. And we'll hold on to Brawn because I guess we should play Brawn. He has a lot of damage and we'll pass. Again, pretty good first deck cycle. We did everything we wanted to do and more. The only thing here is if we had it confused, it'd be good, but one of their advances is already out. That's why I don't play Ironheart. Her endgame is just spent counters, which is anticlimactic disappointing. I hear you. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that is one of the issues. It's like once you get over the early game, which we did in 2.5 turns, the end game is not particularly interesting. I wish it was more interesting. All right, turn the tide. So if we remove threat, that's 3 cheap damage. Champion's Mobile Bunker. Not bad, because there's some cards here that we don't really value, especially when the counters are still fine, I guess. Prof X is our last card. We draw an encounter card, and then 2 more. Hey, Gibbs, popping in real quickly. I take my daughter to lunch, but I just played your Gambit deck and got my stop hitting yourself damage all the way up to 22. That's great. Were you playing solo and did you one-shot a villain? I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, man, stop hitting yourself is something special for sure. You built a teamwork deck for Brawn once? What's teamwork? I know the Arkham Horror card. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that you want to be doing. Exhaust an ally to get their benefits, and then you get the resources without doing damage. That's exactly what you want to be doing. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, teamwork was reprinted recently, right? I know I was playing a bit more of this than I thought I ever would. Okay. 4, 5, strength, fine. 6, one way or another, perfect. A fire skilled investigator, as much as her hand doesn't have obvious ways to thwart. Again, very important thing to watch out is propulsion jets is not a thwart card. That sometimes matters because this says exhaust propulsion jets, remove threat from a scheme. That means you still have to beat crisis naturally, but turn the tide I think cares because turn the tide says after your hero thwarts. Our upgrade is technically our hero, but this is not technically a thwart, so do watch out. Those don't work together. Skilled investigator does work though because it just says after a side scheme is defeated. It doesn't care who did it, let alone how you did it, so that's fine. All right, this goes to 2. This goes to 2. Drang is going to scheme for 2 in a card. So 1, 2 plus Sinister Strike is 3. So this goes to 5. And Drang says after he schemes, this goes to 3. So we're going to be taking a bit of damage here. 2 encounter cards. Last time I built her ran sidekick. How's the shelf? Badoon Warlord. 4 health. Badoon Warlord's getting attack gains overkill with a 3 attack. It's not that big of a deal. We don't one-shot it unless we draw our photon beam, but we might. And that's more damage. Let alone we have 4 damage ready. Like, it doesn't matter. And we also do draw side scheme, but I think no matter what, we'll probably be drawing for side schemes. Blockade comes in with Crisis and 4. 4 is slightly ugly for most of our cards, but if we clear this, we draw a card and we can exhaust the Milano to remove 3 threats back to us. We have to remember Rogue Vessel is here. I think we're going to just try and knock out a Rogue Vessel because I think the theme is so fun. We just take 1 damage. Just kind of whittles us down. Okay, it's our turn. So one way or another draws cards. We don't really need the Champion's Mobile Bunker. Turn the Tide does 3 damage to the Warlord, which means we can ping it with Riri. That seems kind of fine as well. We want to play Brawn this turn, so I think we're just going to start with Tony Stark AI and see what we can get. So we'll look at 2. It's new and improved. We probably should play this. It's not the worst. And Flyover. Flyover is so much better because we can trigger Flyover. And Flyover is 3 threat removal, which gives us 4 damage. Excuse me. Not that removal into 4 damage is pretty good for 2, turns out. Okay, we're just going to use Ronnie to keep us healthy. Nice, recover 2. Cool. In terms of alter ego, we could spend a resource to give Riri some more counters. I don't think that's worth it. A card for 2 damage is not bad, but like we are not sure how many resources we can spend. We probably do start with one way or another. I think at this point, one way or another has only maybe 1 more side scheme that has 3 cost on it or 3 threat on it. But I don't mean that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. Yeah, I think we probably still do it. We will flip up. Okay, so the Milano does 3 off of this or 3 off of this. We want to find a breakpoint that works on Flyover. Flyover needs to remove the last threat for it to be really good, and then we end up drawing a card. We don't have clear the area, but that one's a bit awkward. So I think we're just going to start with one way or another, which is a bit ambitious, but we have so much threat work off of propulsion jets that it'd be silly not to, right? So search and counter deck for a side scheme. So eventually we're going to run out of options. We have the Cannonade, but I think that might be the only side scheme left in the deck. Oh no, we have Bombardment. Oh, we have a couple. We have Oppressive Armada. So Oppressive Armada is 4 threat hazard. Cannonade is 4 threat amplify. And Bombardment is 3 threat. We're not going to read the text. Shouldn't matter. I think Bombardment is just like when the enemy phase starts. We have to do the charge up again, which is going to fire next turn. So we'll take some indirect damage. That's fine. Okay, good. We draw 3 cards, so we're off. Just means new, better shelf upgrade sooner than later. It's a weight problem or like a distribution problem, which is technically a weight problem. All right, one way or another fires, we draw 3 cards. We get another Flyover. I mean, that's fine. We get a Wasp. She's cheap. And we get a new and improved. Andre has nothing good to say. Okay. So no matter what, I think we're going to start. We'll do just strength into a Flyover. So again, this just clears this thing, which gives us so much value. We remove 3 threat from this. That clears this. So we can draw a card with Skilled Investigator. And because we cleared something, we can place 2 progress here. So we have 8 damage. So like we could deal with the Badoon Warlord, but actually there is some small chance we could win this turn. Because again, even with new and improved, which is 2 more damage, we have attack for 2, attack for 3, attack for 8. We have 13 damage already. Now Drang on the other side doesn't have that much health, but every time that we play a Flyover, again, it's just more damage. We also could play Turn the Tide here, which I think we do. I don't think we're incentivized to Turn the Tide into the Badoon Warlord, so we're just going to do Turn the Tide into the villain. The villain will just take 3. So that's 3 more damage, which is really quite nice. Okay, we can use the Milano on this. I think we're just going to use the propulsion jets to remove 3 threat from here. We could fly over it. I think that seems reasonable. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. We probably should play Brawn sooner than later, though, because Brawn's good damage. So let's try play Brawn first. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll use Ingenuity and we'll play Brawn. Brawn's here. And I think we'll just be using Brawn for damage. Oh, not you. But technically you, right? The 3 health. We're going to attack the villain with Brawn. So Brawn exhausts, technically. And then we can remember to use Brawn to do a resource generator. So for that, I think we're going to actually physically tap Brawn. So we're going to... We still have some resources left over? Yeah, we do. So we will do... Brawn. For the mobile bunker. For flyover. Yeah, this seems fine. Flyover just removes 3 threat from this, which finishes it. So we get 2 more counters. So we have 10 damage waiting on us. So that should one-shot the villain next round. I don't think we're in a rush. We can do... I mean, I guess we should not get the Warlord, right? So we'll just spend 2 counters using our Ironheart text. So we're going to spend 2 counters. So we'll go from 6 to 5 to 4. And that just shoots twice for 2 damage, which knocks out the Warlord. We didn't have to do that, but that's the most easy way to do it. We're going to use our Photon Blasters here to do 3 damage to Drang, not an attack. Drang's down on 2, which is a nice breakpoint. Then we'll just use the Milano, and then we'll play Profx. Sorry, use Profx to play the Wasp. We can play her because we are a champion. Wasp is here. We don't actually have anything to do with Wasp, but we might block with her in a panic if we need to, but we just want to spend her hand. And then we will just thwart for 3, just to keep this in check. And we'll pass. So next turn, we might have enough damage. Again, we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 damage, and we can draw more. So yeah, once you're set up, you're good. Moon Girl's really great. We have so many mental or wild research generators, so we should be drawing a lot. Turn the Tide's really great. Clear the Area is really great. Wiccan, Photon Beam is, again, if we defeat something with this is an 8 damage card. Yeah, it's literally an 8 damage card. It's a 6 to 8. And then we have a one way or another, which is going to be, again, absurd with Clear the Area, Turn the Tide. Good afternoon. Ironheart is so busted, but still very fun. Hey, Self-Destruct, how's it going? I'm forgetting how busted she is. This is absurdly busted. This is a deck that I net decked from The Password is the Password, who brought this to Kana Heroes. And it's like, we got up to version 3 on turn 3, I think. We almost had version 1 on turn 1, and then we did 2 into 3 into 2 turns. This goes to 2. Which means Badoon ship fires. When Badoon ship fires, we have to take 2 indirect damage. I'm going to just take it to the face, I guess. I don't think that's a concern. We could spread it across our allies. I don't think it's bad. Wasp technically doesn't want to take damage. Brawn technically doesn't want to take damage, so we'll take it to the face. Drang is going to attack us for 3 and a card. Cool. We will just take it to the face. 1, 2, 3. Boost. It's the Badoon Headhunter. This is one of the cards that we actually want to hunt down. Put Badoon Hunter and play engage with you. Okay, nailed it. So we just take 3 damage. So we need to defeat this if we want to get more experience. I forget what else it takes to find experience in this scenario. I don't know if there's anything secret we have to do. The unlimited 2 damage for counter stage 3 is just way too much. It's not only way too much. I wish it was more interesting. I wish there was different ways to do this. So the victory says record 1 unit for each player. Record a number of units for each thing in the victory display up to 3. We only have 1 so far. If we defeat him, we'll have 3. Record 1 unit for each player. The main scheme is on still this side, so we want to keep it on this side, and we have to get the Badoon Headhunter. So the most victory we can get is by defeating this and not letting this advance. Now the Badoon Headhunter is going to activate against us, has a Villainous, so it's going to get 1 in a card. We're going to take 1 damage from the Rogue Vessel, so it's not likely we are defeated through this. It's very hard for us to be defeated through this, but I could see us, we can definitely defeat this thing, no problem. So we're going to be attacked for 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, that's a lot of damage. So we take 4. It'd be funny if we die here. We are technically on 2 health because the Rogue Vessel will hit us 1 more time. We draw Badoon Assassin. Oh, this is not good. So after Badoon Assassin engages you, it attacks you +2. So the Badoon Assassin will actually defeat us. This is a really cool card. So it engages us. So it's going to attack us for +2. So it's attacking us for 3 damage, which will knock us out, let alone the Rogue Vessel will knock us out. So we have to put someone in the way. So unfortunately, Wasp is going to die to this. Okay, a bit scary. We have some work to do today. The unlimited 2 damage, yeah. I like to see you have to use them before the end of your turn or you lose them or something. Yeah, if you had to use them, I guess that would be more fun too. Because it's anticlimactic where you build all the counters and be like, okay, I guess we win. We have 10 counters. That's 20 damage, right? I've yet to play her. I've seen her played so much. Both she and Hercules take over the game after they set up and everyone else at the table takes 5. I have not seen her in a multiplayer setting because I don't play a lot of multiplayer, but I'd be interested to. At least Ironheart helps the table on her way up. I'm not really a fan of Herc personally. If you like the Drang scenario, my buddy Jared made this Dark Phoenix variant. Oh, that's cool. Well, oh, that opens modular champions. Is modular champions like that's a set of modulars to play, right? Not custom cards. Rogue Vessel should hit you. Yeah, right now it should, right? I think Herc is fun, which is the cool thing. Like Herc sets you on a journey. You never know how Herc's journey is gonna go. But yeah, Rogue Vessel hits us for 1 right here. We have nothing to do with Wasp. We'll keep her to panic block. Saw the future. I mean, that's why you play allies. Ginger, how's it going? So this turn we're probably going to want to confuse and jump down. By confuse, I mean find a confuse card. We need to do 3 damage to Headhunter and knock him out with the photon beam. We also might be able to win on this board state because, well, you know, look at everything. One way or another is guaranteed to find a card that will draw 3, and it's a side scheme, and we're very good at clearing side schemes. So we're going to start with one way or another. Technically, we should start with Tony Stark AI, but generally you want to draw the cards that you can't filter before you have to make a decision on the cards you can filter. That's the way I see it, and that's usually true 90% of the time. So this is the card draw we can't choose, so we should get that card draw first. So there's only one more side scheme in here. I think it has 4 threat and a hazard. Yeah, so whatever. I think that's the only one left. It might not be. It shouldn't really matter because we're going to be clearing it no matter what. No, there's 4 threat and an amplify. I mean, I guess that's fine. Cannonade, this one the Milano can work on as well. Play Dark Phoenix Drang with Jarrett at COH was challenging. Then my website's Marvel CDB for scenarios. Yeah, I was familiar with that one. I've used it a bit. I like it a lot. Shout out to Villain Theory, right? Set up as Hellfire, Shadowcat Nemesis, and Phoenix Nemesis. Each time the Badoon shit pops, Dark Phoenix comes out. That's sick. Consume the world starts to play. Gotta bounce. I'll be back once we get a new shelf. Yeah, good luck with the shelf thing. That's not a great way to suddenly spend your Sunday, but enjoy your IKEA trip, maybe. Big IKEA fan. All right, so Cannonade's here. All right, we draw 3. 1, nice. 2, nice. 3, nice. So Chance Encounter is a card that I don't play a lot of, but it's really good. This allows us to guarantee to be able to go get our friend Professor X, which here we could use a confuse if we wanted to. The other thing we can do is just like win off of damage. To see if we can win off damage, which just look at the text on Drang 3. Drang 3 gets discard the top 4 cards in counter deck. Each time a minion is discarded, put into play, engage with you. So we could get attacked a couple times if we draw more assassins. So we have to be prepared for that emotionally. But otherwise, we have to do 18 more damage. So if we want to defeat Drang, we have to do 20 damage. We probably have 20 damage, but we also need to deal with the Badoon Headhunter. So if you ask me, we're probably going to run away this turn because we're playing multiplayer. We're playing campaign mode, so we should. Chance Encounter is just trading a card for a card, which is acceptable. We have Moon Girl, so we should play her to see what we draw. But we'll put Chance Encounter on there. So when we clear this, we can go grab any ally from our deck and discard pile. So we'll see what we get when we need to see what we can get. Next, we will do Stroke of Genius, which generates a mental and a counter and draws a card. I'm not sure if you have to pitch all the cards at once. I will just do that because that's strictly worse for us. We'll generate a mental off of this. And then there's no way that we're going to need the second clear the area. There's some way we need the second clear the area. And then we'll play Moon Girl. So couple things happens. Firstly, we do Stroke of Genius, so we draw a card. It's another Chance Encounter. Moon Girl comes into play. So Moon Girl, we spent 3 mental resources. So she draws 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's good. We have Hawkeye Justice, which on this board state is actually kind of good. After an ally makes a basic thwart. Maybe actually makes sense. We'll see. Technically, Braun wants to hit things. Okay. Photon Beam is how we knock out the Headhunter. We want to do 3 damage to the Headhunter. So we're going to just attack with Braun. Braun can still generate a mental resource, which maybe we should have used that for Moon Girl, but this will go down to 4. And we can still exhaust Braun again to get a resource if we want to call it that. I guess at this point, there's no reason not to do 2 damage for the Photon Beam. So the Photon Beam is going to do 4 damage to Badoon Headhunter, which is going to defeat the Badoon Hunter. So we have 14 damage locked on our counters here. And this goes into victory display, which means we've got the full 3 victory we can get. All that we want to do now is win and make sure that this does not advance. And that's the most amount of victory we can use to go to the shop to go buy cards, which I think I have all the cards in our card gallery thing. Okay, next thing is we want to clear this. Technically, we want to clear this using, well, Turn the Tide's a bit awkward. when we're going to advance Drang, we're going to get a lot of minions on us, and some of them will have this sort of quick strike. Technically, we want to advance Drang before we defeat this, because there's a whole bunch of minions that say if they're not engaged with a minion, draw an encounter card. But the problem is if we get a thing on us, we have to block with Moon Girl, and I'm not sure how many copies of Badoon Assassin there are, but that's the one that has quick strike that can defeat us. I'm not sure if there's other minions that have quick strike. That is the one thing that could catch us off guard here. So in theory, if we want to advance Drang, we want to advance Drang first. I guess that means we should play a Panic Wiccan. But if we want to play Turn the Tide, we have to clear this using our own methods. So I assume that would be like clear the area after using Propulsion Jets. Yeah, that's probably fine. So we'll use Propulsion Jets, which removes 3 threat. And then we'll do clear the area. So we're going to clear the area. So we're going to clear the side scheme, which means we'll draw a card from clear the area. We'll draw a card from Skilled Investigator. And this is an interrupt that says win. This would be defeated. So I think it happens first. We can go search our deck and discard power for an ally. So in theory here, we can just get the cheapest ally. The cheapest ally we have is 0 cost. But I think we want a cheap ally that can block with. So where's Prof X? Yeah, the numbers are just silly. Straight silly. Like, yeah, I do think this is a scenario. So we're playing on Expert with Standard 3, but we're not playing Expert campaign because I was a coward. It's a Sunday. So we'll get Prof X, I guess. He might be a bit expensive, though, with this hand. Excuse me. He might be a bit expensive. Like, we should be playing Nick Fury in this deck, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why we're not. I guess we'll just play Wasp. We could use a Confuse. Yeah, we could use a Confuse. So this is cleared. Which means we draw from clear the area, which means we draw from Skilled Investigator, so we get 2 more cards. We have a Stroke of Genius and an Endurance. That's really quite nice. Use Chuck as a resource. Yeah, we might at a minimum, but I don't think we have to. So, okay, now we messed up because this is the window that we should be playing Turn the Tide, but, excuse me, we did not play more allies. So we only have Moon Girl for the panic block. We can technically defend ourselves, so it's not the end of the world, but I will play Turn the Tide here, and we're going to waste 1 damage. So after your hero thwarts, and we did thwart and removes the last from a side scheme, we'll do 3 damage, which hits Drang. So Drang gets knocked out. We advance to Drang 3, and we keep the Badoon Assassin in play intentionally. Let's see what happens. Discard the top 4 cards in the counter deck. Each time a minion is discarded this way, put it into play, engage with the player who is engaged with the fewest minions. It has to be us. And same text. Not a minion, nowhere safe. Not a minion, it's one of our side scheme cards. The Badoon Grunt, so this is exactly why we did this in this order. This is after Badoon Grunt engages you, if there are no other minions engaged with you, deal yourself a face down counter card. That's exactly why we did what we did. And then Badoon Lieutenant. So we did get a bunch of things here, but we should be able to blow the board up. It has Patrol, so as minions engage with you, you cannot thwart the main scheme. And mind you, Milano is not a thwart. I don't know the text on Patrol. I'm assuming that they've actually changed it since then. Okay, so this is us. We're definitely going to take 1 damage from the Rogue Vessel. If we jump down, we have Ronnie Williams and we have Endurance. We also have a Confuse if we want to. We have 14 damage plus 3 damage here. So we can just clear the table. None of these have guard though, so can we just win? Yeah, we just win. I mean, yeah, they don't have guard. I guess we just win. Would you live stream Arkham? Sonic, let me tell you about a little channel called Velma's Diner. Hold on. I'm allowed to do this. This is self-promotion. YouTube, it's linked in the description.com/@Velma's Fine Diner, I think it is. Yeah, you might recognize this setup. Yeah, there's a channel. We've been streaming for a couple weeks. Go check it out. It's great. We'll be back Wednesday evenings, but actually probably also Mondays as well, because we're going to be streaming a bit more for the other reasons that you might know of. Velma's Diarrhea. Yeah, it's Velma's Diarrhea. No, Velma's Diner. Wait, why? Crisis prevents any threat removal. Patrol prevents thwart from any character. We seem to be fine. Okay, I think we just win here. I don't think we have to do anything clever. So none of these have guard. We have to do 18 damage. We'll attack for 2 into the villain. The villain takes 2. Takes 2. We'll attack for 2 with Moon Girl. The villain takes 2. Oh no, is that 14 health? Oh no. Wait, is that 14 health? Oh, that's really awkward. Oh, because I have 14 damage. Oh no. We win. Fine. I mean, that's sick. It's really cool how when the advance, it matters. And I love that when there's a difficulty spike that you're in control of, that scales up when the scenario scales up. But like, we also had, again, all these cards left over. So it was really easy for us to Stroke of Genius Professor X, get 2 more damage, jump down. We could have played Hawkeye to attack for 1. We had so much. Anticlimactic as usual. Yup. When you can have 14 damage on you at instant speed. Yeah, it's a bit anticlimactic. Can you clean the board as well? Probably not. Not as well. We could clean the board for sure. I think Hawkeye Justice actually does work really well here, where if we thwart with other characters, we can do some damage. So instead of grabbing, we should have grabbed a cheap character. But like, if we could have played Hawkeye and Wiccan, maybe. But I think for that to be the case, Stroke of Genius has to draw a double, which it doesn't. Oh, we would have drawn a Photon Beam. Yeah, maybe actually we could have. You should destroy the board for campaign bonus? I don't think it matters. Oh my god, does it matter? Because then we will. Oh, wait, you scared me. You know I want all the points I can get. Oh yeah, okay, no, we're not doing that. Rewind. Yeah, 100%. We're cleaning the board for campaign reasons. Good catch. I forgot that was a thing. So we're ready. The villain, we did... Okay, this is going to be more fun anyways. So this is the good thing that we should be doing it. So we did 2, 3, 4, plus 14. We did 18 damage, okay? Sorry, that was a fake out. That wasn't a real thing. Yeah, okay, we have to defeat all the minions. So we should be able to do that safely regardless. So we undid 18 damage because that was 2 plus 2 plus 14. And we still have this whole hand of 5 cards. So we do know the card that we're going to draw. I mean, that's going to be a fun outcome anyway, so I think we're going to stick to it. Hawkeye's really good here. Wiccan's also really good here too, because Wiccan just thwarts and does a bit of like, not you, incidental damage, which is just kind of like good fun. We have a 3 damage burst here, which doesn't line up particularly well, but we also can use Brawn for a resource, so we should be fine. So let's try and do the Hawkeye thing. No, but Hawkeye only does damage when people thwart, which is not that good. I do think we might want to jump down here just for safety's sake. So I think we're going to clear the table and come back up. LFG Riri. We'll do Stroke of Genius. We want to draw before we do anything else. So this generates one. We'll tap Brawn for the other one. We'll get a card, which is Photon Beam, which is really nice. And so we generated 2 resources. We will play Wiccan here. Our ally slots are actually going to be full. No, so then we don't play Wiccan. We also toss with Hawkeye, and we play Chuck. Oh, excuse me. This is a mess. We'll play Chuck. So when Chuck comes into play, we'll confuse the villain. Again, we want to keep this on the main scheme. That's that. We have Patrol to deal with, but we also did just drop a bunch more damage. We just drew 8 more damage. You should not pop the first main scheme for campaign bonus. Yeah, we're trying not to, for sure. We need to keep this here. Okay, so that's that. This hand, we have no more resource generators. Besides the Milano, but we can use the Milano a different way. So I think we're just gonna, even if we use Milano for endurance, it doesn't change much. Tony Stark AI should be exhausted. So I think we're just gonna Photon Beam the Lieutenant. So we will just spend a counter to do 2 damage to this. And then we'll spend 2 cards to play Photon Beam, which maybe we can do everything here, actually. So this does 4 damage to the Badoon Lieutenant, which knocks it out. And because we knocked it out, we get 2 more counters. So we have 18 damage on us. So I think we might still have lethal, but we probably shouldn't have played Professor X. We'll do Photon Blasters. This just does 3 damage. The breakpoints don't really matter, so we'll knock out the Grunt, I guess. Technically, we should use Moon Girl. Yeah, this is wrong. We shouldn't play Prof X. We should not play Prof X. We should just play a guy who does 1 damage. Because we have lethal. Yeah, if we don't play Prof X, so instead we play Wiccan, we have 1 more card in hand. It's not going to matter. Then we can attack with Wiccan. Technically, we can thwart with Wiccan, which is more fun, but I'll guarantee we can attack with Wiccan into the Badoon Assassin. And then we have 19, 20, 21 damage. Yeah, we could have done everything. It was nice that we drew the 8 damage burst card for 2. Like, that's a pretty absurd. But yeah, we're allowed to clear everything and more. Keep Assassin engaged with you to shut down Badoon Surger. If we're winning, it doesn't matter because we want to clear the table. But yeah, we had that for sure. I mean, this is nonsense. This is 18 damage that we had. 18 damage. We're playing solo. Like, okay. I'm happy we played on Expert Campaign. Maybe we actually should play on full Expert Campaign. We'll see. I thought you would heal. We'll heal when they're dead. Bottom of our deck. Sector Scan. Useless. Grand Ward. Fine. Clear the area. Fine. Photon Beam is another 8 damage. 6 to 8 damage. Good stuff. Okay, I'm going to actually grab the campaign rules because I realized we're going to be playing a bit of a campaign mode. So this is called Galaxy's Most Wanted PDF. At FFG, they should really name their files better. It's like kind of ugly, if you know what I mean. This is like so minor, but when you search them, they come up and like you can see the name that they named their file on their infrastructure online. But the fact that the first Google like link is, hold on, I guess I'll hide the overlay. This is such a minor thing. I just find it so funny. But the fact that the file is clearly saved as MC16 underscore galaxies underscore most wanted underscore rule set, like it shows up on search terms. I think it should be named a bit better. It'll look better. This looks like I shouldn't be opening this link. Okay, so we have some choices to make because we're going to upgrade our deck. There's a chance that upgrading our deck is not good, but because our cards are really self-synergistic. But Victory says we have record 1 unit for each player. So unit is this resource that we spend to upgrade our deck going to the market. The market has a lot of cards in it. Not all of them are great, but we basically spend this as experience like Arkham Horror to upgrade our deck. So we have 1 unit. Recorded number of units for each player to a maximum of 3 units equal to the victory display. We have 3 victory in the victory display. Badoon Hunter is 2. The Badoon Blitz is 1. So we have 4 units. Record 1 unit for each player if the main scheme is on stage 1B, 5 units. Record 1 unit for each player if there's no minions, 6 units. And if Badoon Headhunter is in the victory display, we have to mark a box, which means Badoon Headhunter is going to come back with some upgrades. In theory, if we're playing expert campaign mode, which we are not, we have to record our health. That would be a downside, but whatever. I just don't like those rules too much. We could have jumped down and waited another turn, and I just don't think that's like really interesting gameplay to be like, oh, we could win, but we're not going to because I'm going to spend 2 turns healing. It just doesn't seem that exciting, but whatever. I'm off to sleep. Hey, gonna watch the VOD later. Enjoy your upcoming Monday, I guess. I think it's a Monday soon. But BBX, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, bananas. Okay, so let's spend it. So let me show you what the marketplace is. Now, this is sometimes a bit annoying to do on camera. We have to pull up all these cards, and these are unique cards, and there's a ton of them, like literally a ton of these. I think I have them all in the area, but these are cards that you technically have to read each one of them because you don't know what the cards are. And then we have to spend our experience. So these all have like a unit cost, and the idea is that the unit cost is how much of our experience we have to spend to put this into our deck. Again, we have 6 to spend. I would have to check the rules. I'm pretty sure if we don't spend all our units, we keep them between rounds. So if there's a card that we like and we can't afford it, or like we can't afford 2 of them, and mind you, these are all unique cards, like 2 different cards, we can squirrel away our units for later. So again, there's a lot of these. There's like 28 different cards. So reading through all of them is going to be a bit of a mess, but I think I'll read it through some of them that I remember being pretty good. Some of them are better in different hero kits. Some of them are only playable if you have the Milano. So anytime that you dock your ship, they're useless cards, or at least less useful cards. I do like the upgrades that give you efficiency every turn or give you a guaranteed output every turn. And those are usually the Milano upgrades. All right, we'll start here. Brainstorm. The 1 cost cards are, some of them are, I think there's 1 or 2 that are absurd. Some of them are just not great, not good enough. So 0 cost hero action thwart, name a card type, then look at the top card of your deck. If that card is the name type, remove 3 threat from the main scheme, place that card on the top of the bottom of your deck, then draw a card. So if you can see the top of your deck, this is the sort of card you'd love to play in like Domino or like Magic, because that's like a really fun interaction and it has a wild on it. For us, it is at a minimum just replaces itself, and if you're lucky, you can draw 3. You can remove 3 threat, right? And you can also just scry your deck and just draw a different card. Not a bad floor for a 1 cost card, that's for sure. By any means. Unit cost 1, place 2 threat on the main scheme, deal 3 damage to the villain, draw a card. I'm not for that. If you need some extra damage, so be it, but I'd rather control threat than place threat, of course. Contingency plan. For those who haven't seen them, they're cool designs. And like some of these designs, I don't know if we've seen super similar cards in hero or aspect kits. Discard the top 4 cards of your deck. For each different resource discarded type, discarded this way, deal 1 damage to enemy, draw a card. Not bad. A cantrip that does somewhere between 1 to 4 damage and draws a card is fine, I guess. Especially if you have a deck that has discard synergy. Shout out to like, again, White Fox and all that sort of stuff. In Defiance. When an identity would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent 2 of that damage, draw a card. I don't like cards like this because you have to have them in your hand during the villain phase. Now, obviously, every hand besides the first hand you'll have in your hand during the villain phase. But yeah, it's fine. It's just like heal 2, draw a card functionally. It's okay. Calculate the odds. Draw a card, choose a player. That player may draw a card, then choose and discard a card from their hand. So you draw 2, discard 1. It replaces itself. I mean, it's functionally very similar to Spiritual Meditation, which isn't bad. Now, these are this card I remember playing a fair bit. Creative Solution. This now costs 2 units. Draw a card and remove a status card from any character. If the status card type was removed this way, was tough, deal 3 damage. If it's a stun, remove 3 threat. If it's confused, heal 3 damage. Now, this card already just replaces itself, so it's never a bad draw. But if you can get toughnesses because you're playing Colossus, if you're just stunned or confused because you're playing against villains that can do this to you, this does a fair bit. Like getting rid of a stun, removing 3 threat, and replacing itself is quite nice. But again, at a minimum, this just replaces itself in any hand. So it's not the worst. And these cards are actually getting a bit more interesting, I think. Grapple. Deal 1 damage to an enemy and stun it. Stun your hero, draw a card. For certain heroes that don't care about attacking, this is really good. We do care about attacking, but adding a stun to any deck that replaces itself and also dealing a damage is like a kind of fun card. I played a whole bunch of Winged before. Deal damage to an enemy and confuse it, confuse your hero. This is so good in solo, especially if you're playing like a certain aspect that doesn't have access to confuse. Deal 1 damage, confuse you and confuse yourself are fine. If you're playing protection, you don't really have thwart events, so this is totally playable. Shout out to our friend Lockjaw. Close call. Again, any card that you think are good, shout out. We have a bunch of these to go through. We're not even halfway there, but any cards that look good, we'll put them into our deck. Most of these do replace themselves. The good ones, I think, do. Now, this is unit cost 3, so we're getting more expensive. When a boost card is turned faced up, cancel that card's boost ability and all of its boost icons, then discard it, draw 1 card. This is not awful. This will fire as long as the villain's not stunned or confused. But if the villain is stunned or confused, there will be no boost icons, and this won't be able to be played. It does replace itself, which is quite nice. But the problem is you need to have a boost icon, and that's not always guaranteed. Even if it has no boost on it, this card doesn't do anything. But then you don't need the card, but then you can't replace it. Kind of weird. I don't know what this card says, so I've probably never taken it. Deal 5 damage as a hero action, cost 1 to an enemy, and discard the top card in the counter deck. Take 1 damage for each boost icon discarded this way. I hate this. This is not great. This is a 1 for 5, but then you have to take some amount of damage that could be up to 3. Like, I don't get why this card costs unit cost 3. And this is what I don't get. Some of the cards will make no sense. And then we're in the middle part of the pack where I think a lot of the cards get a bit silly. This is a 1 for 5, which is nice that any aspect can take it, but then you have to take some random amount of damage. Could be 0, but could be 3. Do I want to take 3 to do 5 for 1? In Harm's Way, I think it's similar. Take 2 damage, remove 5 threat from a scheme for a 1 cost event. I mean, I'm not excited to spend 3 experience on this. Take the fight to them. Defy danger is better than molecular decay. It's a lot cheaper though. So 0 cost, look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, discard any number of those, then place the rest on top and or bottom of the encounter deck in any order, draw a card. There's certain kits where knowing the top of the deck is obviously very important. Not ours, unfortunately, and this is 3 unit cost. At least it replaces itself, but not into it. Okay, these cards I really like because they're fun and I love these consistent payoffs, especially when you're playing solo. So these are the Milano mod cards, and there's like 2 of them. I think there's some 4 cost ones and some 6 cost ones. Maybe I just shuffled these and they're not in the right order. But yeah, they're very, very good. When an identity would take any amount of damage, exhaust us to prevent 1 damage and 2 damage instead if you have the Milano. Now this is just great. Like preventing 1 damage a turn on a 0 cost upgrade. It's so easy to play. And this just saves you like 5-6 damage every turn. I love cards like this. I like cards that are just consistent, giving you value. This prevents you from not dying. I like this a lot. I'm a sucker. I buy this all the time. And then we have these similar cards that are also really good. And I love grabbing these because I want to add the thing that the deck is not good at doing. Is your deck not good at damage? Well, why not play the heavy cannon? You can exhaust it. It costs 0 to deal 1 damage to an enemy. And if it's a Milano, it's an additional damage to the villain. So that's each enemy and the villain. Like that's a really good text on a card that you play for 0 that's there for the rest of the game. Now, if you control the Milano, you get the kicker, and you control the Milano in the next, I think 3 out of 4 scenarios. So you don't in the next one, but that's really cool. Hyper Thrusters, this one I've also played a fair bit because if you're playing a protection deck in solo back in the day, you didn't have a lot of access to thwart removal or threat removal. This is remove 1 threat from every scheme. And if you control the Milano, remove additional threat from the main scheme. Really good. Now this does cost 1, but that's still pretty small. Reactor Core. Again, this is the thing. It's like these events are fine because they replace themselves. But having an upgrade that I put on the table that fires every single turn seems like such a better use of resources or units more accurately. Like I don't fully get it. And I always like buy the same cards. Reactor Core, exhaust Reactor Core, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, the top card instead if it's a Milano, to reduce the cost of the next event you play this turn by 1. That's not awful. That is functionally a resource generator for 1, though, that can have upside if you're a discard deck, which, mind you, there was no discard decks for years after this box came out. I'm not really into this. It's very easy for you to put, put resource generators in your own deck through the basic aspect. It's much harder to put like consistent payoffs of damage pings and thwart pings. So I've never played this card, and I don't know why I would unless I'm a heavy discard deck. And usually those decks have ways to discard their cards that don't have this sort of convoluted nature, because you can only do this if you have an event. Ardent Resolve. Now we're costing 5. Readily a friendly character, draw a card. That should be good. Our hero is a friendly character. It replaces itself, so this is just a free ready. Unit cost 5 on this seems so expensive compared to the upgrades. I have never taken this. Onrush as 1 word. I don't know if that's a word. Unit cost 5. When a card is revealed from the counter deck, cancel the effects of that card and discard it. That's a really good effect. However, and we did play a card like this in what's it called, in Scarlet Witch on Friday and had a great time. I don't love hero interrupts that only fire during the villain phase that are events, because you don't want to hold this in your hand. However, if you do cancel it, it's really, really good. It's just like you have to hope to draw into it, because there's no nice way to hold this without losing a hand size functionally, and it feels bad. I've played Safeguard before. Give up to 2 friendly status cards, draw a card. This is really good when you play multiplayer, because you can protect 2 people and this replaces itself. It's playable on all board states unless you're already tough. And then you can give it to an ally. This card's really, really quite good. Sure Gamble, shout out to Netrunner. This is the quintessential name of the most common Netrunner card in the game. Reduce the resource cost of the next card to play this phase by 3. Technically, it only reduces it by 1 because you could have pitched this card, or sorry, by 2 because you could have pitched this card. So it's like fine. It's just kind of like having a shawarma in your deck, which is not bad, but spending 5 unit cost on a shawarma seems kind of ridiculous. I have no idea how to spell shawarma. Do I? Yeah, it's a shawarma. It's fine. All right, so these are the 6/6p ones, which we can just grab one of these if we want to. The Cargo Hold. So these are similar Milano mods. Exhaust Cargo Hold to heal 1 damage from a friendly character, and if you control the Milano, heal 1 damage from your identity. So you can just heal 2 every turn. This is a bit more expensive. I feel like the damage mitigation one, which costs 0, is just a lot better than this, but healing allies is actually really quite good, and healing Brawn is technically worth a fair bit, so not a bad card. I've definitely played the Mounted Laser. Again, this only costs 2 more units than the other option, but this comes in down for 1. This says deal 2 damage to an enemy, 3 damage if you control the Milano. There's actually a chance that the other one is better because it does 1 pings to multiple things, and 1 pings to multiple things is a rarer effect. And when it comes to our deck, we want to be able to one-shot things for 4 damage, so dealing 2 and 3 is like not necessarily great. I honestly think the smaller version of this could be strictly better because it's harder to get board control or board damage than it is to have a burst damage. But again, when you get this down, you're doing 2 damage every turn for free. Maybe 3 damage every turn for free. Like it's nonsense good. It's literally our photon blasters, but it's available as soon as turn 1. Navigation column. Exhaust navigation. Choose and discard a card from your hand to draw a card, or otherwise discard the top card of your deck if you have the Milano to draw a card. That's just a free card draw a turn. That's better than a resource generator. The fact that it swaps cards is not bad either. I've never taken this, but it's not awful. We have the targeting screen. Exhaust this to remove 2 threat from a scheme, 3 threat from the Milano. I think the smaller version is better than this. Not bad. Onrush is indeed a word in the English language. What does it mean? And then we hit the 7 cost cards, which I don't think I've ever taken one of these. And the biggest reason why I've never taken any of these is I don't think it's possible to get 7 experience in a single scenario. Maybe it is. Definitely not the first scenario we've maxed out. So I've never saved enough for these because I do think the 4 ones are just so absurdly good. Grand Strategy costs 7. Draw up to your maximum hand size. Remove this from the game. That's a really good ability. Of course it is. You want to dump your hand and then just draw a new hand, kind of like you're playing She-Hulk. Very good, especially when we can have 6 hand size. Is that worth it for 1 powerful turn? I mean, yeah, maybe, but 7 is just so expensive compared to the consistency of some of the other cards, so I've never taken it. Power Unleashed. It's also all these cards have bespoke art, which is like such a nice luxury that you don't often get in some of these like weird side cards. Power Unleash, deal 5 damage to the villain and remove 5 threat from the main scheme. Remove this card from the game. I mean, it's a very good event, that's for sure. But like, this is the sort of card. There's a psychology problem with these cards, and some of it's a personal psychology problem. Is I will draw this card and then think this is not the best time to use it, and then not use it and spend it as a resource. And it's the same thing where I end like some RPG game and my backpack has 1,300 potions in it. Like when there's an upgrade, I'll play it and use it. When it's an event, I'll be like, not now. And that's fine when it's like the laser cannon where it's an upgrade, so you can choose to use it when you need it. But when it's an event that you have to draw it in your hand, that board state has to feel good enough. Like, I just generally don't play this, but like it's still good. Even on mid board states is it good. It's weird. My brain doesn't work well with these kind of cards. Tried and true. Choose a player. That player may add up to 3 cards from the discard pile through the hand. Remove this card from the game. That might actually be better than the redraw your hand one, because the redraw what your hand one is random. This is targeted. That's a very good effect. And then I think the last card here is triple threat, which says ready up to 3 characters. Remove this from the game. I don't care for that. That's only really good if you're playing multiplayer or you play a lot of allies consistently. It's like a sudden burst of energy or momentum from my understanding. Oh, cool. Unit cost 6 for a worse Sorcerer Supreme seems crazy. Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, but like, you can put it in any deck. What is Sorcerer Supreme? Source. I don't have a card in my deck called Sorcerer Supreme, which means I must have spelled it wrong. Yeah, so I can't pull that up. We got 6. What are we spending on? That is the entirety of all the options. My gut instinct, like always, is to get something that gives us some armor plating because we just need to set up and this stops us from not dying. Oh, the Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah. +1 hand size. Yeah, it's pretty good. Armor plating is good. It just says don't die. Every turn we dodge 1 or 2 damage. Technically, we could be defending, but our stats get good. I like this way more than I should. And that will leave us with experience that we can just float. But the 0 to 1 cost cards are like not terrible because they replace themselves and give you generally good effects. Like Creative Solution is not a bad card. It's the one that removes a status counter to do something cool, and that's good. There is a fair bit of Confuse in the next set with Collector and that stupid Psionic Ghost. So I could see this being good too. We could do Creative Solution and armor plating, but if anybody has a strong opinion, let me know. Winget's also not bad. Deal 1 damage to enemy, confuse your hero. We don't want to be confused though. It's nice that these work together. Like you can do Winget and Grapple and Creative Solution, and then these give you stuns or confuses, and this removes the stuns or confuses, which is good fun. Yeah, the Sorcerer Supreme. That should have been obvious. Sometimes I panic and I don't think I know the names of cards. I don't know why. My card name recognition in this game is so much worse than Netrunner. No idea why that is. I think I'm just gonna do 4. 2. In theory, it's probably best to do 4 and not get this. And then we can buy a better permanent upgrade later. I think we're going to do that. Sorry if that's not exciting, but we need to resleeve this. These are going to be fun to resleeve because you're going to see which ones over the years I've taken. And I usually take the same ones because I don't think all of them like make sense based off the unit cost. It's really cool to have a mechanic that makes this game more like Arkham Horror, where you can upgrade your deck and certain characters will want certain upgrades more than others. That's a very cool thing that should be celebrated. Finally, a laser without shells. So what's that pile of ammo? Those shells. Laser. You got the wrong Milano upgrade? No, I don't think so. You think? This is the one I wanted. This is the exhaust. Oh, you did. You never mind. You're right. You got my back. This one's gonna earn a new sleeve regardless. Yeah, the one we wanted is the hull, right? Yeah, the armor plating. They look very similar. I mean, like front of Milano. Imagine we drew this and we put it down. We're like, oh, we're gonna die. Don't worry, we'll use our heavy cannon. Wait. What are we doing? Okay. You go in here. Okay, sick. So let's get this up. So because we defeated the Badoon Headhunter, the next card we're gonna have to shuffle into every campaign is On the Hunt. On the Hunt, I think, just grabs the Badoon Headhunter with Surge. Oh no, that's not the case at all. Choose to either take 2 damage or discard a card randomly from your hand. I mean, that's not great. It's nice to have more damage prevention. This is just Surge, take 2 damage functionally, which is not amazing. Oh, I think I might have to resleeve because I don't think I played Collector in a bit, but let me clean this up and we'll be on our way in a second. So this is us. We are not going to have the Milano in the next scenario, so our upgrade was actively not good, but it's still a playable card. This is part of our campaign pool. This is probably coming out. The boost effect is nasty. Give the villain additional boost card for this activation. Yeah, +1 boost plus additional boost. It basically just means you can make a 4 boost out of nowhere. It works worse with amplify icons, but a 4 boost is not something you usually play around, and this can just deliver a 4 boost. Again, I don't know. Why is the Bandit Badoon like... Man, when encounter sets have their own color, it's so much cooler, but the fact that Ship Command is in the blue and Bandit Badoon is in the blue, I don't like that. I love colored boxes. Bandit Badoon. It's also a really weird thing where, like, it's not common. I think there's only 2 or 3 scenarios where the name of the villain is not the name of the encounter set. Like, this is Brotherhood of Badoon, but obviously the villain's named Drang. We have, whatever it's called. The Sentinels one is called something else. Not Operation Zero Tolerance. What's the Sentinels one? Night of something? Bandit Badoon. Okay. Collector one I like, but in standard 2, not expert. Yeah, we'll see how bad it is. I remember this one being frustrating. I like Collector 2, the second Collector, a lot better. I think a lot of people do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2. Yeah, that's good. Night of the Sentinels, Project Wide Awake. Yeah, it's called Project Wide Awake. It's neat how that happens. I'm not sure why that's warranted exactly, but I'm down with it. Collector 1 is a rubbish design, but I really enjoy Collector 2. Yeah, me too. We'll see if we're going to get frustrated with it. If it's bad, we'll scale it down to standard because it's just like not particularly fair feeling when you play solo, and you'll see why in a bit, hopefully. I also have to find it the right way because there's 2 collectors, which means my machine gets a bit ugly. Will this work? No. Is his name Collector? Villain. Because it found his health. Villain named Collector. Good, that worked. Okay, cool. Okay, these are out, I think. No, that's the wrong collector. That's not good. So I don't know how I meant to make this work. So we're just going to do this manually. That's a bummer. So we're playing Collector 2 and 3 because we're playing on Expert. I haven't played this in such a long time that 1 and 2 are together. Over the years, whenever I started playing more Expert, I put 2 and 3 together, which tells you I have not pulled these cards out in a long time, which, yeah, not a surprise. Okay, we're going to have Gallery Splendor in Expert mode, which that's going to kick our ass. We have 1 main scheme only, and we're going to have to unsleeve all these cards. One of the cool things about this is Caught Off Guard got reprinted in a different colored box, and I think that's sick. I'm actually kind of into that. So the Grand Collection is what we're playing against. So there's a thing called the Collection, which can be pretty frustrating in some ways. Basically, anytime a card leaves play, which means not events, but upgrades, allies, minions, basically everything else that has some sort of permanence, just not specifically upgrades or resources, they will be added to the collection. If the collection gets 4 cards, we lose. And the biggest issue is that we only remove 1 card from the collection every turn, which is not very fair. Because if an ally goes and we draw a minion, oh wait, these are sleeved, right? Some of them are. That's it. Like, that's all we got. Wait, some of them aren't? I guess those are the collector cards, yeah. And so you just can't keep up. You can just get locked where there's like 3 minions in front of you. And if you defeat 3 minions, they all go into the collection. And if they're all in the collection, well, you lose. So you end up in like really weird non-win situations, which seem to be defined less by your decisions, but more by the luck of the draw. And that is very frustrating. I best him on Expert 1 with Nebula Hero. That was enough. Oh my god, on Nebula, like there's certain characters I would never play against Collector 2 or Collector 1. Like I would never play Nebula. I would never play Black Widow. Just because if your deck is based around playing a lot of small upgrades, you are in a bad spot. Very, very bad spot. Okay. I hate the scenario cards also goes into collection. Yep, everything does. It's like awful. I'm assuming that they playtested it like that. I don't think that was like a rules miss, but everything goes in the collection. The problem is mostly like actually encounter cards, scenario cards, because it's so hard to deal with that. Okay, so create the collection game area. So we'll just put it here. Put the top card of each player's deck face up in the collection. That's also just annoying text. It's face up, so we'll see it. But we're just going to randomly lose 1 card. We can get it back, but when we get it back, I think it goes to our discard pile. And again, if we have too many cards in there, we lose the game. It's cool that the collector collects. Like that's what you'd expect him to do, but let's shuffle our deck first. We're on 10 health, and then we have to randomly rip a card. Yeah, we're event-based hero, so it shouldn't be the worst. Like outside of our allies, we have nothing on our own that will enter the collection. But yeah, there's some really bad ones. Yeah, Gamora, Shadowcat, Gwen, Jubilee. There's some really good ones that can work well against a collector, where you just play events and you don't play any permanents. All right. This also feels very much more like, again, Lord of the Rings, where it's a bespoke challenge that you have to build your deck around, which is not something you commonly see in modern Marvel Champions. Miles has a couple upgrades that are like fire this to do something good. But yeah, most of his text is on his hero box and his events. Limit 1 per hero per turn to clean the collection is a problem. Yes, if you cleared that, and I think Gideon's like corrections say to do that. If you could clear multiple cards, it would be totally doable. It would still be annoying, and that's like another downside. It's like anytime there's a scenario or a mechanic that just says like spend resources to undo some sort of backwards, climbing up a hill, it's not fun. And this is not that much different. At least this one, you have to make choices, and leaving certain cards in the collection is like technically a choice. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, as printed, yeah, I don't love it. So we lose a photon beam. Bummer. It's part of the collection. That's a really good card to start with. Okay, that's that on the setup. I think there's only one scheme here. If this goes through, we lose. It's called the Grand Collection. It doesn't have the highest limit. It starts with 4 threat, which was unusual for the time, and it gets 1 per turn. It says as a hero action, either choose to exhaust your hero, which is not the worst thing. Our stats are not amazing turn 1, to discard a card from the collection and limit once per round per player, which means we can only functionally remove one card from the collection, but there's going to be many turns where we add multiple cards to the collection, right? Because if we just have to defeat a minion and an ally goes down, or we have we surge into 2 minions, what are you going to do? Now, if there are at least, enough 4, 5 cards in the collection, or if the stage is completed, you lose the game. So every turn we have to remove a card from the collection. Otherwise, we just can't keep up. Any turn that you don't remove a card from the collection, if there's a card in the collection, is a huge mistake. Because again, you can only remove 1 card per turn. Okay, that's that. In terms of this, we start with the Gallery of Splendor, which we're not doing on the expert side. We said we wouldn't. So we're going to do this on the other side. This card does not get added, I don't think, but it has Hinder 3, so it comes in with 6 threat. It says when defeated, place the top card of each player's deck into the collection. Great. Otherwise, it's Victory 1. In terms of the other setup, I rotated this. I don't know the button to do that. How did I rotate this? R, okay. The other setup is reveal the Gallery of Splendor, shuffle the Badoon Headhunter minion, and if we have 1 mark, we have to also shuffle in the On the Hunt, which we did. For victory, we want to do 1 unit for each player, a number of units for each player to a maximum of 3 units to the victory display. So Badoon Hunter plus Gallery of Splendor gets us to all 3. 1 unit for each player if there are 1 or fewer cards in the collection. So we kind of want to aim for that. And 1 unit, there's no threat on the main scheme. If the cards in collection section record the title of each player card in the collection, I think it starts in the collection next scenario or something bad happens. So we want to empty the collection. And if Badoon Headhunter is in the victory display, we check off a never, check mark, and he brings in reinforcements. Yeah, Nolan, I think everyone's on the same page about that. It's so annoying. Even if you could remove more, it would be like better, but it would still be not a fun mechanic. All right, this is the Collector. So the Collector is relatively straightforward compared to the Collector 2, which is the next scenario if we get there, which is much more interesting. So the Collector says, when revealed in player order, each player must choose to either put the top card of their deck into face up into collection or take 3 damage. I'm just going to take 3 damage. Again, we can exhaust ourselves to recover 3. We can exhaust ourselves to get a card out of the collection, but we can only get 1 card out of the collection, so we're just going to do that by default. Only has 14 hit points, though. But, force interrupt when a card would be placed into the discard pile from play, put it face up. And very importantly, I did not realize the one time I played this, events don't enter play. The only cards that enter play are like upgrades, allies. That's mostly it. Attachments, minions, side schemes, stuff like that. Side schemes is a problem because with one way or another, we're going to be adding a card to the collection guaranteed every turn. Do tucked cards also get added to the collection if they were discarded? I don't know. Tucked cards did not exist by the time, so I'd have to check. Tucked cards will definitely say whether they're in play or not. There's a chance. How's it going, by the way, Snipecox? His low HP is what gives me any hope with Nebula Aggression. Yeah, you can just rush through him. He only has like 30 health to get through. Unfortunately, Riri has a bit of a setup to do, so we'll see if we can have as nice as a start as we did before. So again, what we're trying to mulligan into here is one way or another, any card that draws a lot of cards. We've lost 1 Photon Beam, so we only have 2 more, so drawing Face the Past is not guaranteed we'll be able to clear it. I think tucked cards are in play. My guess is tucked cards aren't in play. You can interact with them, but they don't count for find cards in your play area that have a mental icon or stuff like that. So I'd have to check the rules. I'm not sure. Looks like chat seems to think they're not in play. Again, Riri's text. We can spend a mental resource to put a charge on it. It did kind of matter last time that we did do that, but we drew a absurdly good hand and we're off. Again, I don't have high hopes for this. This is a very hard scenario and not in a really interesting way. All right, Chance Encounter. These are the sort of cards that you don't want to play because this is an upgrade, and once it leaves play, it gets tucked. So we're just never going to play this thing. Turn the Tide. We don't need 3 damage this turn, so we're not going to keep it. This is not a card we keep. It's not a card we play usually. It could be free at some point. Genius we'll keep for sure. Find hopefully something to play with it. Flyover is really good. Remove 3 progress, and this can give us 2 counters. Now this can clear the main scheme as long as we thwart for 1. We're more likely to exhaust to deal with this, but we could thwart 1 and then fly over this to clean it up. I could see that being reasonable. We have Ronnie Williams, which is perfect. She's one of our most important cards to get us set up quickly, so we're gonna start with this. Notably, this deck has multiple copies of the card that makes you discard a card, so we have to also have extra upgrades, which is a nice reason also to have those Milano cards. All right, 3 more. Tony Stark AI, that's perfect. That's really, really good. These cards that we're discarding are not in play, so you don't have to tuck any of them. One way or another, we'll probably still play. It's going to put a side scheme in play, which is going to be our 1 per turn card to add to the collection, which means we're going to be not going minus cards this turn. And then we have a Champion's Mobile Bunker, which is like fine. It's an okay card. We don't need to play it. I don't think Silk would be able to tuck anything. That would be the main problem. She can tuck treacheries. I don't know. The problem is like, can you tuck a card? Because she tucks them from the discard pile. I think so. Silk, yeah, would not be able to tuck a card before this interrupt happens, unless it's a treachery. I think you're right. Yeah, the other cards would be eaten. Okay, interesting hand. Now the issue is we have a couple cards that we want to do an alter ego first. The fact is that we have one way or another into flyover. So one way or another, we'll draw 3 cards, and then we'll get a side scheme, and the side scheme we can remove to get 2 progress on us. The issue is the side scheme will end up in here. I'm not familiar with what the side schemes are in the deck. The deck has a lot of upgrades or attachments that cost a lot of resources. At a minimum, we have a bunch of these victory side schemes, which are nice. When defeated, the player who defeats the scheme draws 3 cards. I mean, yeah, we're going to get that one. Let's just go ahead and put that on the top. I'm not going to read the other ones. I'm assuming we're going to take that one. So we'll put that there. So I think that's where we're going to start, just to know what that is. I think that means we'll just do Champion's Mobile Bunker into Ronnie, and I don't think our hand is amazing enough right off the rip to be able to charge our alter ego with an extra resource, because we don't have any extra cards here. So I'm going to spend Champion's Mobile Bunker on Ronnie, and we're just going to exhaust Ronnie to get our first charge. So we spent 2 resources for a charge as opposed to 1, but she gives us some permanence, which is good. All right, nothing else to do here. We'll flip up. Again, very importantly, and to be able to get rid of the cards underneath the collection, we have to either just spend 2 resources of any type or exhaust ourselves. So we're probably going to exhaust ourselves to deal with this, but we're going to be behind in terms of cards. We're going to still be at 1 card, which is not a great spot to be because we're choosing to play one way or another, which that's on us, but our hand's really good for this. So search and counter deck ends for a side scheme and reveal it. We're going to go ahead and reveal the Philosopher's Stone. The amount of these that you steal or you like liberate, I think actually matters in some weird way. Oh, this is hinder 2. Oh, this is 5 threat. I didn't realize that. I thought this was 3 threat. Let me search the deck to make sure. But this is a really nice one to take because it draws us more cards. But in theory, we want something with a clean 3 threat on it. I think all of these victory ones have about 5 threat, so that's probably not it. This one has 5 threat. That might be the only option we have. 5 threat. I mean, that's what we're getting. We might not clear it this round, which is fine. But yeah, if we do clear this, we get a lot. So we're going to have to find an ally here that thwarts or a face the past. Yeah, exhausting feels a bit cheaper than 2 resources. 2 resources is about what you expect to pay for a ready, but some people more than others. Yeah, these don't go into the collection, which is good. So that's a nice thing with one way or another, because this goes into the victory display, so it dodges the collection. But it does count how many of these are in the victory display. I think it does on collector 2, not collector 1. One way or another resolves. Excuse me. There we go. So we draw 3 cards. Strength is great for Tony Stark's AI. Endurance is whatever. Face the past. Okay, that's awesome. We have the same amazing setup, which means we should be able to clear this and draw even more cards. We do that by thwarting for 1. And then I guess here we could... No, we should draw the cards we have no control over. We're just going to do face the past. The problem with the face the past is we might not be able to knock out our nemesis. Also, the problem with our nemesis is it will go into the collection, which it's not great because we go down 1 card. But this means we could thwart this again and then clear it to draw more cards, which is super greedy. But I do think we should be greedy. Like at the end of the day, our goal is to basically get ourselves online, and this will get us online. We have 2 more photon beams we could draw into, and we're going to be drawing functionally 4.5 more cards. So we might be able to get there. Notably, when you knock a card out of the collection, it just goes into your discard pile, right? Yeah, it just gets discarded. So we'll play face the past. So we ready ourselves? We go get Lucia von Bardas, who's not particularly scary, but you do want to knock her out. I guess there's a chance that we knock her out instead of Philosopher's Stone. And then we ready ourselves and we draw 3 cards. Clear the area is not bad. Wasp, not bad. Hawkeye, not bad. You can pursue the past, find your nemesis in the collection. I honestly don't know. I'm not 100% sure. There's rules to find, and find searches certain areas and not certain areas. Okay, so the thing is, we want to do a flyover on Philosopher's Stone, but that needs to clear the last threat. Similarly, we have the awkwardness where we want to do clear the area to clear the last threat, but flyover seems more important because it'll put us halfway to where we want to go. So if that's the case, I think we're just going to play Tony Stark AI and see that we can get something nice here. So we're going to just use it. We're going to look at top 2. Chance encounter or clear the area. We're always going to grab clear the area because chance encounter is not something we want to be playing because it's an upgrade that adds itself into the collection. Again, you can change your deck between scenarios. You probably should because, yeah, just adding more cheap upgrades is not something you want to do in this scenario. Okay, so we don't have enough damage here, which means we probably have to attack for 2. And then, I don't know, it's actually really hard to knock out Lucia von Bardas here. We might have bit more than we needed than we can chew. If we clear this, we draw 2 cards though, so it's probably worth looking into. So if we get really lucky, we can thwart for 1. We can fly over, which will draw 2 more cards, and we have 2 cards in our deck that can knock out Lucia von Bardas. If we get enough resources, we can also just like play Hawkeye, Wasp. It's gonna be short of damage, let alone we don't have enough threat there. So not amazing. We might have to shoot the moon here and hope. Yeah, we might have to shoot the moon here and hope. I think we do. Because it's not likely we're going to be able to knock out. We know we can't knock Lucia out with our hand if we don't clear the Philosopher's Stone. Because we get attack for 2, and then we have to play 2 allies. So we could do Hawkeye Wasp. That does knock out Lucia, but then we also can't clear the photon. We can't clear the photon beam. So actually, maybe it's better that we use Hawkeye plus Flyover to deal with this, and then we can get this out of the bin. Hawkeye thwart 1 and deals 2 damage seems like a play. So Hawkeye works on Hawkeye's self? What? Hawkeye works on himself? After an ally makes a basic thwart? I thought it had to be a different ally. Wait, Hawkeye's so cool. Oh, that's sick. Wait, I had no idea Hawkeye worked on himself. I thought it'd be a different ally. No, that's amazing because that brings it down and does Lucia into distance. Wait, Hawkeye's sick. Okay, 1, 2. That's amazing. I had no idea. 3. We'll play Clint. It's good. The game, every Hawkeye ally in this game has been so good. Specifically the Clint allies. The other ones are fine. Hawkeye uses his own arrows. What a champ. So 4, 3. Hawkeye will thwart for this, which does 2 damage to an ally. Or sorry, to a minion. Yeah, that's so good. Damn. All right, so we'll do 2 into Flyover because we might play Endurance. So Flyover is going to do the thing we want it to do. So Flyover says we're going to remove 3 threat, which clears all the threat off of this, so we can put 2 counters. We're on 3 counters. When the Philosopher's Stone is cleared, we add it to the victory display, so it doesn't go to the collection, and we draw 2 cards. So we'll just put that there. We'll draw 2. We get Wiccan, not bad, and Turn the Tide. We actually can play Turn the Tide here to knock out Lucia von Bardas. That is such a good top deck, so we will play Turn the Tide here, and then we'll just strap down Endurance. So the other options we could use Wiccan, and Wiccan can thwart, and that can knock out Lucia von Bardas. So that's another way we can use our hand, is we can do Wiccan. Wiccan can maybe do a bit of damage to Collector. We can thwart 1. He can ping Lucia von Bardas. That's also fine. But the other option is to get 3 more health, which we are a bit hurt here. Collector doesn't hit that hard. So I can't tell which way to go. I think overall allies are not amazing into the scenario, but with Hawkeye, allies are pretty good. I could see us blocking for 3 next round, so I will go for the Wiccan play. So we'll instead do 2 for Wiccan. Hawkeye's not once per turn, right? Allies are weak, play against Collector, keep it in mind. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I love the allies, but plus 3 thwart on an upgrade is also not bad. Yeah, let's not add the allies. Yeah, let's try that. Chat doesn't seem to want to add allies either. So we'll just do Turn the Tide in response. So we'll deal 3 damage, so we'll knock out Lucia von Bardas. So she enters the collection again, 2 out of 5. Once it hits 5, we lose the game. We'll go ahead and play Endurance. We'll just play it down here. This can get collected at some point. It just gives us 3 health. So we have max. I guess we're putting it here. And then we will exhaust ourselves. So we can choose which card we move to the collection. So we'll choose to remove Photon Beam. In theory, we actually could get thwarted on and lose because this could go to 5. Collector could scheme for 3 and we get a 2 boost. We're out of the game. But like, what can we do? I genuinely, what can we do? I don't know what we can do about that. I guess that would be like play the ally and thwart for 1. Okay. Let's go. Brawn's good. Big. We only have 4 hand size actually, so we want to confuse. Stroke of Genius is nice. So we draw a card here. We can actually get to 6 counters this turn, especially with the Sonic Rifle and Professor X. Now Sonic Rifle is a bit ugly because Sonic Rifle, you just want to use 1 charge on it and never use the second charge, because as soon as you use the second charge, it ends up in the collection, right? And you don't want that. Upgrades are not great. Yeah, that was a pretty solid first turn, all things considered. Face the Past is out. Yeah, we wish we had this on 0, but what can we do? All right, the Glen Collection. There's a lot of minions that can come in and play on boosts, like the Psionic Ghost, so we have to watch out for them. And there's a bunch of quick strike minions too with the weird space shark thing. So this just goes to 5. That's it. The villain, and I don't think this is the right villain. No, it's not. That's annoying. The setup is pretty hard with the Collector's name. So the Collector 2 is going to attack us for 2 and a card. No active text. 1, 2. We'll just take it. We could defend for 3, but we want to defend to get a card out of here. Exhaust, so we'll take it. 1, 2. Yeah, this is the Star Shark. Oh, that's a bad text. I'm glad we didn't play more allies. Deal 1 damage to each character we control. So we take 1, Hawkeye takes 1. That sucks. And then we just take 2 more. We don't want to be drawing minions because minions end up in the collection. We're on 7 health. One encounter card. Oof. These suck because these are hard to get rid of, and they end up in the collection. Attach to the enemy with the highest scheme, so the collector has a blazer. As a hero action, place 2 threat on the main scheme and spend 2 resources at the same time to discard this card. These cards are so absurdly expensive to get rid of them. Some of them do like poison, some of them like lower your stats. But this is for like 2 threat and 2 resources is so expensive, and it ends up in the collection. Like, obviously that's not a minion, but like, yeah, wow. Wow. Collector is wow. Super wow collector, wow. We'll start with Tony Stark AI. We'll look into. Stroke of Genius, we'll take that. Photon Blasters, though, is pretty good. Huh. I guess we have to plan our turn. So this does damage, which we don't really need damage. 2 health is nice. But Stroke of Genius, if we take it, this is 2 cards technically because it replaces itself. So that will be, we can play 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Professor. Or not for the Professor, for the Sonic Rifle, probably. We can exhaust ourselves to do the 2 scheme here. We can spend 2 resources and place 2 threat here to put the Grand Collection on 7. Not good. We'll have 1 more card in our hand though, right? Because this is 1, 2, this is 3, 4. If this is the thwart one, we would definitely take it. But yeah, this is a lot of resources. If we play Prof X, like Prof X might be a bit better because we get the Confuse. And functionally, Sonic Rifle is just going to be 1 Prof X. The problem is like Prof X ends up in the collection guaranteed. Sonic Rifle won't. It's up to us to put the Sonic Rifle in the collection, which we won't. This will bring us to 5 counters. We can only advance when we're on our hero mode, so we have no way with this hand to get the 6th counter, which sucks. Yeah. Again, this is 2 resources. I think there's no way we take this. If it was the thwart one, we would, but the damage one, we don't really need to blast out. So if we play Prof X, he ends up in the collection, but he thwarts 3 and then ends up in the collection. That's probably a bit better. If we do the Sonic Rifle, it just thwarts 3 and that's it, which is pretty low tempo. We can also play Brawn. Brawn could thwart 2 and get a resource back, but allies are not that good. He says, excited to play Professor X. So I think we'll do what we have to do here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. I think Stroke of Genius is fire first, and maybe individually. I think you pay your resource cards 1 at a time, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'll just do it the harder way for us. So we'll spend 3 for Prof X. When Prof X enters play, we get a Confuse. He's going to end up in the collection. There's no way around that, but we have Prof X, which is good. Okay, each of the Stroke of Genius is fire, so they each replace themselves, and we get 2 counters. So we draw a Skilled Investigator, which is fine, and a Photon Beam, which is 4 damage, as much as it can give us 1 counter. Actually, no, it can give us 1 counter. Wait, that's really good. So the Photon Beam, no matter what, gives us 1 counter. So we actually can advance this turn. So we can exhaust to get rid of this. We can Photon Beam, we can thwart for 2, we can jump down. When Chuck thwarts, Clint can fire an arrow. There's nothing I encourage tempo. The problem is like Hawkeye can only hit minions. So Chuck doesn't actually do anything here. If this was just deal 2 damage, it would be so much better, but it's only minion control, which like, okay. Yeah, this Photon Beam's good. I think it's better than anything else. Like otherwise we played Skilled Investigator past. We can, mind you, throw the Sonic Rifle at Ironheart or at Riri to get a counter, but I actually like this Photon Beam. We need to do a bit of damage. So we'll just do the Photon Beam. We'll deal 4 damage to the Collector. We could get rid of the Blazer, but I don't think we're going to on this board state. And we place 1 progress counter on us, so we've hit our 6. That's good. Prof will thwart 4, 3 into this. We will exhaust to liberate Lucia from the collection as much as we don't mind her there too much. Then we're going to just use our Ironheart text, which there are some, I think, arguments where you want to keep this for a turn where it's more relevant because having a free ready, but we'll just ready right here because we can use it, which, sorry, ready's us. And we upgrade to Ironheart's goofier suit, Ironheart 2. All right, we're ready too, which means we can thwart for 2, or we can just jump down and recover. We can get up to 15 health. We can use Ronnie to recover for 3. Thwarting this for 2 is okay. Collector schemes for 3 and a boost, which can be a lot. Like he can just suddenly scheme for 7, which means actually this is not safe at 2. That is the issue. When you have 3 scheme and an amplify, actually he can just scheme for like 8. So in theory, it's safer to thwart against this. Cool. We'll jump down, and then down we'll just use Ronnie to get the counter because we can and we should. So we'll be on 2 counters next turn, maybe 3 counters. We'll see what we draw into, and we'll draw now 6 cards. We'll pass. So far, so okay. 1, new and improved. More like never going to play that. It does give you a mental, which is good. Grant Ward? Not sure. Flyover is remove 3 threat. That's really good. And they'll give us 2 counters. So we can be at 2, 3, 4, 5. We can be at 5 counters. Energy. New and improved, whatever. Moon Girl. Moon Girl's really nice. We have a couple extra mental icons that we don't like. We have Tony Stark's. We should be in an okay spot. What does that side scheme do? Gallery of the Splendor, nothing. But when you complete it, it just says put the top card of your deck into the collection. And it gives us victory 1, but it doesn't actually have active text. It just says you want to clear this at some point. Technically, we don't have to. There's no downside to not doing it, I don't think. But it is victory, and that is worth units, right? Okay, this goes to 1. Collector's confused. 1 encounter card. Hey, Manuel, how's it going? Good morning from New Zealand. Or actually, I guess like you're 12 hours up, huh? Good Monday? Is it Monday already? I'll watch the whole VOD afterward. Good luck. Thank you. A minor setback. Give to Riri. Remove 1 progress counter from your identity. Bummer. Then discard this card. If no progress counter was removed this way, deal yourself 1 face down encounter card, then shovel this card into counter deck. This is an obligation, so I think it actually is in play. So I do think it gets collected, which sucks because now we're on a 2 collection card turn, which is something we can't keep up with. But I believe obligation enters play, so it is collected, as much as this reads like a treachery, right? Bummer. I guess we're not advancing this turn. It's 5 a.m. Monday. Hey, enjoy your Monday. Hopefully the week starts out well. Good morning. Yeah, a bit more than 14, 13 hours ahead. Okay. Yikes. That's yikes. Obligations get collected if not removed from play. Yeah. This one doesn't remove itself from play. Yeah, then discard this card. Yeah, okay, bummer. Okay, we're just gonna start with Tony Stark AI, get some ideas. So we can either get one way or another, which is a bit risky, not impossible. And we do have a flyover, so we are incentivized because we can thwart for 2 and we can thwart for 3. So we consider doing that. Or another one way or another. I mean, I'll take one way or another. Thank you. We're going to be drawing 3 cards, which is most of our deck. So Ingenuity, Photon Beam, clear the area. Propulsion Jets is really good because that's 2 threat a turn. Collector will be hitting us hard here. So we're probably going to play one way or another because, again, it's nice that the side schemes are not going into the collection. Okay, we don't have a 3 mental on Moon Girl, so we probably play one way or another and see what happens. We're going to fly over plus scheme that. This will put us on 3 threat. So the question is, what do we do with Ronnie? With Ronnie here, we can either heal 2, which is not bad. We have no more healing in the decks. No, we have a 75% chance draw into recover 2 or get more 2 health. So I think we'll just use Ronnie for a counter because we definitely need to get our damage up because we just need to blow up Collector. Collector doesn't have that much health. So we'll use Ronnie for the counter and then we'll flip up. I think we're just going to start with one way or another. We are going to deck out, which means 2 encounter cards, and drawing 2 encounter cards against Collector is bad because most encounter cards end up in the collection. But the question is whether we do one way or another first. I think we do, and then we can cycle our deck. So let's see what we can get here. Again, all the side schemes I think are 5 threat. So it's more the upsides because they all have upsides when you clear them. We have the Crystal Ball. The player who defeats this scheme may play a card from their hand, reducing its cost by 3. That's not bad as much as you want to play Moon Girl with text, and we have no expensive cards. There's a small chance you're going to be drawing into an expensive card, but they're only 2 cost cards, so not super important. Other options. The Pujadarian Monarch Egg. The player who defeats the scheme may ready their identity. That's good, because that's a cheap way to remove a thing, so that's okay. It has an acceleration. Other options. This is a big deck. Heal 4 damage from the identity. Yeah, I like that one the most so far. Yeah, we'll just try the heal 4 damage one. I think that's a good time to get that. So this is the magical teapot. There's also like one big minion in here. I don't know who he is, but there's like the guy who I think collects for the collector, and he's just like 7 health, villainous, 2 attack. I don't know why. Just like one guy in here just has no stats. Sorry, no text, but just absurd big numbers. All right, it's the magical teapot. Magical teapot. I think I either don't have this or I've named it wrong. So I guess we'll just show you the art really quickly. So when defeated, the player who defeats the scheme may heal 4 damage from an identity. The lighting up there is so bad, and that's because you can't have lighting overhead because it hits glare. The struggle of content creation with sleeved cards, huh? Now, one way or another, we'll fire. We'll draw 3 cards. Photon Beam, okay. Ingenuity, good, as much as we're not an alter ego. And then we got the Propulsion Jet. So the last card is to clear the area, which actually would have been kind of useful this turn. Okay, we got to keep playing pretty smart. Free new and improved doesn't seem bad. I mean, you're right, but new and improved doesn't cost 3. No, it does actually, right? So we would play this for free. We would draw a card. We'd get a tough status on Ready Ironheart. You're right, actually. That's pretty good. That is pretty good for free. We'll save it for the next turn, but we had it in our hand, so why not? Yeah, maybe we should have gone for that. Whatever, we're going to draw more cards in a second. Speaking of drawing more cards, 1, 2, 3. There goes the new improved. We'll play Moon Girl, and that will draw 3 cards. Again, Moon Girl will end up at the collection at some point. The thing, though, is here we're going to deck out. So I think first we want to get the double back into the deck. So we'll play Energy for Propulsion Jets. That's probably what we're going to get back in first. I also think we want to get Flyover back into the deck first. So maybe we want to figure out how to Flyover here sooner than later. Mind you, we're at 2 Thwart. I could see that being good. So yeah, because we're going to deck out, we want to make sure that what's in our discard pile gets shuffled back, because otherwise it'll miss a whole deck cycle and we might not see it for a long time. And right now, like, Flyover is one of our favorite cards because it's our only big burst of thwart, let alone it can give us 2 counters. Now, we probably won't have a ready here because we're only going to be on 3 counters. It's very, very, very unlikely for us to have more counters. So that means if we're going to get rid of one of these cards, which we have to do it in right now. Yeah. Yeah. Events are the cards that we need, not our upgrades. So we want to make sure Grant Ward doesn't shuffle back. We want to make sure any any ally or anything that has non-permanence should not shuffle back. Unfortunately, new and improved won't shuffle back. Will shuffle back, which whatever. So that's tricky, actually. The only nice way to get rid of the magical teapot, because we didn't draw this card, is we have to thwart it for 2, and then we have to do a Flyover, which, like, that's fine, I think. And then we'll just pay 2 resources for that. Yeah, it's okay. So we'll thwart for 2. Cool. Then we'll do a Flyover. So this removes 3 threat, which clears this thing, so we can heal 4. So we go all the way up to 11, which is nice. And this goes into victory display. And because Flyover clears, we go to 3 of our counters. Okay, I think that's all the cards that we want in the discard pile before we cycle forward. So we're just going to spend 3 mentals for Moon Girl, and we'll see what happens. It's a shame that we not play our 2 damage burst card, our 4 damage burst card for a counter. We probably will play it. I just don't think we have to play it first. So we spend 3 mentals. So we'll draw 3 cards. We get clear the area and encounter card, which not good when we can only clear 1 card a turn, and then we'll get 2 more. I do like how you really have to care about what you're doing in the scenario. Like, let's talk about that as a good upside. Like, caring what you're doing, fun. That's good. But yeah, if you just get behind, you can't win. That is the one downside. There's like no mechanic that removes more than 1 card from the collection. And so you can't just find yourself on the wrong side of that slope. 2 more. Genius, that's sick. New and improved. Honestly, might be worth playing. Because new and improved is 3 resources to ready ourselves. And that is kind of akin to paying 2 resources for that. Speaking of, we'll spend 2 per propulsion jet, so we'll get 2 more health. This is the threat one, which is good. This will just keep us kind of afloat. So we can exhaust this now to remove 2 threat, because of course we're on the 3 threat side. Or sorry, we're on stage 2. It does 2. Okay. So I honestly think we just dump this hand into new and improved. Yeah, why not? Let's play a new and improved. None of these other cards I care about that much. The only other thing we can do is play Photon Beam, and Photon Beam gets us a counter. So that means that if we draw 1 more of our events, we can actually clear this. I think the best case scenario is we find it confused and jump down. The issue is we shuffled without Professor X back in the deck, and that's okay. So we only have 1 more confused card in our deck, which is specifically... Hey, where's our upgrade? Where's our Milano upgrade? It's not in here. Where do we put it? Where's our Milano upgrade? Huh? Hey, we spent 4 units on this. Where did it go? I put it somewhere. Oh, this is a mystery we have to solve. Does anyone remember where I put it? It's like we should have had that thing by now. Huh? It's almost a great scenario. It's almost a great scenario. It's a very thematic, a very flavorful, very interesting scenario. Where's your Milano upgrade? What the heck, game? We should have had it, guaranteed. We decked out. I was like, where is this thing? It's an upgrade. We should just tell by the card back, right? It's not in here. What did we do? Does anyone have any idea? The only card that's out of the game is Face the Past. It's not in the collection. Where could it possibly be? Worst comes to worst, we'll proxy for it, which is fine. I just like... Huh? That's annoying. The win revealed effect on stage 3 is a free game over. I don't know what that is. Is it the hard mode version of Blue's Clues? Doesn't Milano have the counter back? Yeah, but not the Milano, our Milano upgrade, which is a player card. So it should have the blue back. But where is it? We went through our whole deck. Like, it should have this card back. It should just have a player card back. It's right here. All right. I'm going to pretend we would have had this guaranteed because we went through our deck. I'm just going to shuffle it through the deck and play it out. But I don't know why it ended up in the wrong place. We're just going to put that there. Did Nanako eat your Milano? I mean, I think she would. Nah, it's in plastic. She likes plastic. She likes sticky. She's like a fiend for tape. She can smell adhesive. Loves adhesive. We do not feed her adhesive, let's be honest. But anyways, we would have got that at the deck cycle. That would have been good at some point. I guess we'll get it on the next deck cycle. What can we do? You put it at the bottom of the market card deck? Yeah, Void, you found it. So I want to rewind it and be like, oh, the forensics. Okay, that's great. Okay, anyways, this is us. So new and improved, we can play for a whole hand. It does two things. So we ready ourselves, which means we can do the collection. We can give us a tough status card. Searching a deck for an Ironheart card doesn't really matter here. So I think that's what we're going to do. The other option is play the Photon Blast and then play Grant Ward. I don't want to play a lot of allies here. So we're actually going to play new and improved. So we're going to pick two things. We're going to give ourselves a toughness, which there's an amplify there, so that does matter. And we're going to ready ourselves. With the ready, we're going to exhaust ourselves to liberate Prof. Grant Ward doesn't go into the collection if he betrays you. Yeah, you're right. He removes himself from the game. Like, there's actually some board states where you want him to betray us to thin our deck to get out the allies. And then we're going to just go use Propulsion to remove 2 threat. I guess we should work on this. Putting it at 3 would be better. Doing it on 1 doesn't seem super important, but we could be wrong about that. And I'm not going to use Moon Girl because she can get knocked out to a bunch of different things. My cat lived to my cat lived to lick plastic and tape on a box. Forgot if she had her afternoon spoken for. Wait, what, Andy? We're not jumping down. We did jump up this turn. It was a long turn. We'll drop. Photon Beam. Okay, 4 damage, one way or another. I mean, maybe, yeah. Flyover. That's really good with one way or another. Chance to counter, no. And we have 5 hand size now. Energy. Good hand. This goes to 2. Collector's attacking us for 3 with the Amplify in a card. 4 off stay a while. Take the toughness. Good toughness. 2 encounter cards. Hopefully they don't end up in collection. This one will. Psionic Ghost confuses us. This card seems just really good. Always been impressed by this. When revealed, if you're confused, if you already take a damage. So the confused sucks this turn because we definitely want to do stuff and we want to be ready. Shout out to that card we could have put in our deck, but 4 health. And when you defeat this, it goes in the collection. Like if you just draw 2 minions, you're going to be behind. Biogram Image. All right, attachments are also bad. When collector would take any amount of damage, put this card face up into the collection, prevent all the damage, and place threat on the main scheme equal to the amount and prevent it this way. This card could have had so much less text and it would be just bad. The fact that it just adds itself to the collection itself is bad enough, but hey, that's us. Hawkeye could technically do something this turn, which is nice. We are confused. So our activation, and again, this turn, we're threatening to add 3 cards into the collection, which is something that we don't want to do. We can remove 2 threat with our propulsion jets, which should be ready, and then we can clear the side scheme we get with chance of counter. That's probably what we're going to do, and then that will put us on 5 counters, and then Photon Beam could destroy Psionic Ghost, and we could actually be on side 3 on turn 3 or 4, I think. So yeah, let's just do that. One way or another. We're going to search for the one that lets us to play a 3-cost card from our hand, unless there's something better here. We don't have any 3-cost cards, but we could draw into one. So this says the player who defeats this readies their identity. That's not bad. We are collecting so many of these victory eggs and stuff. And then the only other one is reduce a card to cost by 3. I think we'll try that one and hopefully draw into something expensive. It's the Crystal Ball. So it comes in with 5 threat. Readying ourselves is not bad because it clears a counter, but I think we're going to have a free ready this turn when we upgrade anyways. So comes in Crystal Ball. So when we clear it, we can do the good thing. We draw 3 cards with 1 way. So we draw another 1 way, useless. Turn the Tide, kind of useless. And Flyover, that's both of our flyovers. So that means we're guaranteed to upgrade ourselves. And so all our goal here is now to just blast through the collector before we clear any of these dang attachments. The text on the card reminds me that we know they didn't test the chunk of this box. They changed the rules last minute because people were complaining that the red skull box is so easy. The text really makes me feel it didn't use the collect villain cards. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Either that was an oversight or that was added, because why would this card say add it to the collection? Because that's an inherent rules. You're right. That's a very easy forensics. Because why would you have to add this text when that text is the rules text of the box? So that means, yeah, it used to be that villain cards didn't get added to the collection or a rules oversight. And if minions don't get added to the collection, this is a reasonable scenario. Damn. Yeah, which means actually this shirt wouldn't be added to the collection. Yeah, that's weird. It's weird to have this text is. Now, admittedly, sometimes they do that as a reminder text, but like it's weird to have the reminder text on one upgrade and not the other upgrade. As much as this is a collector card, so it always will be in the right context, this one doesn't. So maybe that's just reminder text, but yeah, I think you're onto something. Okay. We want to deal with this. So we're going to thwart it for 2 because we need to clear it. This is not a thwart, so technically it does not hit our confuse. We have to knock out our confuse. That's actually a reason to maybe go for the ready one. No, we'll be fine. Okay. We're going to spend our double for fly over. You know the text on this one? So we're going to, in theory, we could have Tony Stark AI first. Yeah, we should Tony Stark AI because we want to get a card that we can play cheaper. I actually think we probably... Oh, we've already seen 3 cards, so we can't change it, but we have to do Tony Stark AI first for sure to find a 3-cost card. No, I guess free Sonic Rifle is pretty sick. So we'll now fly over to clear the crystal ball. So it clears it. It allows us to play a card for free. So we'll play the Sonic Rifle. It has 2 charges. We won't use the second charge because it then destroys the rifle, and that's not very good. So it has 2 charges. We did get 2 counters. But we need to figure out how to advance ourselves to get the last counter, which we can just by jumping down, but it's more likely we'll do it by just shooting the Psionic Ghost. The other option is we can clear like Gallery of Splendor, but then it adds that card to the collection, which is bad. Hot draw from Tony. Yeah, we definitely needed that draw from Tony. I'm pretty sure the card that we grabbed, the Crystal Ball, was not a good choice because we were not guaranteed a 3-coster because Professor X is also already in the bin. And I think Brawn would have been pretty good, but that's the only like really good draw there. Okay, so we're going to go negative on cards in the collection. We're going to have 3 cards in the collection this turn. Yeah, sucks. We're not going to play Turn the Tide because it doesn't matter. So we're going to do 2 into Photon Beam, which does 4 damage to the Psionic Ghost, which puts us at 7 counters, which means we can advance, but the Psionic Ghost is defeated and goes into the collection. Okay, so not great for obvious reasons. Next, we'll just advance our hero text. So we'll use Ironheart's text here to get a cheap ready. So we're going to remove 6 counters. We're going to upgrade ourselves to our final form. And we're going to give ourselves a toughness, and we're going to give ourselves a ready. So now we're be able to just spend our counters for damage. So all we want to do is counter max to just blow up Collector. Now, the first damage we do to Collector will knock out the Biogram image. I mean, there's no way around that. So we're just going to use a counter to do 2 damage. Mind you, sorry, this is our Ironheart now. Which this says, when any amount of damage, prevent all that damage and place this card into the collection. Place threat on the main scheme equal to the amount of damage prevented. So I guess this goes to 4. We have 3 cards in the collection. First thing we're going to do. Oh, I wish we had 1 more resource. That's ugly. We will just exhaust to remove a card from the collection. I will remove. I don't think it matters. We'll remove this. We will use our Sonic Rifle to confuse the villain, I guess. So sorry, that's not the villain, but we'll just confuse the villain. So the villain's going to get a confused status just in case things don't get out of hand. I guess we'll use Moon Girl to thwart for 2, but we kind of want to wait until we actually have something that lines up. These 2 cards suck. Like, why did we float 2 cards? We probably could have turned to Tide it into Collector's Face, but then the order doesn't make sense. Again, we can only do this ability once per turn, which is so frustrating because we're floating 2 resources here. I guess that means by definition, if we're floating 2 resources, we should keep ourselves ready, spend these 2 resources instead, which mind you is here to remove a card and then thwart for 3. Of course we should do that. And then we'll pass. We have a toughness. We don't have to jump down here. We're going to try and stay up as much as we can. Why not spend the 2 resources? Yeah, I got there. Yeah, for sure. I was like, wait a second. We can just spend resources in this scenario. All right, good thing is that Ironheart now has 3 hand size, or sorry, 6 hand size, so we can keep drawing. There's the armor plating. We definitely want this. This just helps us. In theory, this is not what we want. This will actually progress the scenario, and we definitely want to progress the scenario because we want to get out of here. Okay, this is 6 damage, which is nice. Clear the area, turn the tide, Wiccan, chance encounter. So the chance encounters are not very good. This goes to 2. Collector attacks us for 3 in a card. 4, 5. We take the toughness. 1 encounter card. Stay a while. I don't know what this does, but it probably adds things to the collection. Hero, Collector attacks you with +1 attack. If you take any amount of damage from the attack, put the top card of your deck face up into collection. That sucks. Because he's attacking at 3, and we block for 3. Now, this says if you take any amount of damage, which means we could just put an ally in the way anyways, and it does the same thing for us. Because we won't take damage if an ally is in the way, and then the ally ends up in the collection if the ally survives. So I think we honestly just put Hawkeye in the way and just say we'll rescue you, Hawkeye. This means we're on 3 cards. We did add a card this round. Every round you want to not add a card, but it makes no difference if we put an ally in the way or not, because 3 defense is unlikely to be able to perfect block this. Yeah, I think we'll just put Hawkeye in the way, because again, if you take damage, yeah, bye Clint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drawing near is an obligation that actually would also been added if we drew it, but Clint is now collected. Thanks, Clint. You did good enough, I guess. It's back to us. Okay, so we need to remove a card from the collection. No way around it. And we're at the point we're going to be using our extra resources to do that. We should just start blasting. So Tony Stark AI draws 2. We just want damage. New and improved. Actually, not bad. Pretty good. Braun, we don't like allies. We will play the new improved, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so cards that are good, cards that are not good. We can just play clear the area to cycle a card. Seems acceptable. We do want to advance while this has no threat on it, so I think we'll do clear the area to clear a card. In theory, we should do the math of how many we're spending on cards. So right now, this hand, we want to play Photon Beam, which means we can't play new and improved. So I guess we don't actually do clear the area. Because clear the area is basically 2 cards for 2 threat that comes 1 card. But we want to play new and improved. We want to play Photon Beam. We want to play armor plating, which is just good enough. So I don't think we'll do anything smart. Okay, we will exhaust to liberate Hawkeye. We will then... Oh, new and improved draws a card. I forgot about that. So maybe we will do the thing. We'll do 1, 2, 3 for new and improved. And because we are fully upgraded, we can do all choices on this. So we can search our deck for an Ironheart card. It's only your deck. I didn't realize that. We'll ready ourselves, which is worth something, and we'll give ourselves a toughness, which is worth a lot. So I guess we'll just take a card out of our deck we don't want, like Sector Scan, because I don't think we can play anything else. We could get a Stroke of Genius or a Photon Blasters. Photon Blasters is definitely worth getting, right? Because Photon Blasters is 3 damage every turn, which means we can play... Man, we still can't play everything. So Photon Beam is 6 damage. Photon Blasters is 3 damage every turn, but we're going to be drawing into this eventually. So I think we actually take our resource. I think we take Stroke of Genius. And Stroke of Genius is nice with new and improved because it actually makes it like a 1-cost card. I'm appreciating that. That's actually a nice choice if you have access to it. Because we pay 3 and we get back 2. Because again, you get a card and a card. So I think we'll do that. And I think it does hit a good breakpoint. We might waste 1 resource, but we'll grab that. Yeah, it's an Ironheart card. Nice. That's actually kind of cool. I didn't realize we could do that. Okay, so we're still ready. We probably want to be attacking as much as we can. We're going to head and do Stroke of Genius and Wiccan for Photon Beam. So this is going to do 4 damage to Collector. And Photon Beam, Nana's going to come up in a second. Gives us a counter here. Hey, Nanaco. And because we spent Stroke of Genius, we draw a card and give another counter. Strength is useless, but that's free damage. Okay, we'll use our Propulsion Jets. Sorry, not you. To just remove 3 threat from this to keep it fair. We do want to clean this at some point. We also do need to to get the extra victory. This has to have only 1 card in it, which we're just not in control of at some point. We'll play our armor plating. Armor plating just says that we can exhaust this to prevent 1 damage, which that probably won't matter, but it thins our deck. We probably won't hold on to the strength. I think it's more important we just keep going through our deck to find our events. We will attack for 2 into the villain. We could actually, hold on, we should get rid of the Blazer. No, because it ends up in the collection. We're not going to do that, and we'll pass. So we're there. We're not going to use any of our counters, but next turn we have at least 4 damage pent up, and we should be able to blast through the Collector. We might not be able to get all the victory because clearing cards from this is just simply not possible in solo. But yeah, that's it. Good afternoon. Hope you're well. Hey, Joey, should I start the VOD from the start or watch live? It's up to you. We're coming to the end, hopefully, of this Collector one way or another. But if you want to learn how the deck works, and it's not specifically my deck, you can always watch the beginning section where we explain the deck and then jump up to now. But if you watch a 2x speed, you eventually will catch up. All right, this hand has damage. Clear the area is okay. The bottom 2 cards of our deck are not very useful cards, so we just need to figure out how to get through these. All right, this goes to 1. Collector is attacking for 2 and a card. 3 damage, caught off guard. That's a good card not to draw. We lose the toughness. 1 counter card. Evil Alliance. I mean, fine. I totally forgot that we're on X for 3. Sorry, standard 3. So we put 3 counters. Our Nemesis showing up is bad because it adds 2 cards that we have to clear both of them. And that means 2 cards into the collection in the same turn, which is not something that's good for us. But that was a pretty lean turn in terms of the damage it did to us. So that's good. Okay, do we have lethal? What does Collector side 3 say? Collector 3 says, When revealed, place the top card of each player's deck into the collection. Place one threat on this scheme for every card in the collection. Oh, that's bad. That's bad text. Luckily, we're going to be going down a card this round, which is nice. But if we want to clear either of these, we go up a card. So like clearing this is worth a victory, but having fewer cards in this is worth a victory. So like, I don't know if it matters. Okay, we can definitely. Yeah, this is kind of ugly. This does 3 damage for sure. Champion's Mobile Bunker will allow us to rip through our deck, which is good. And we will deck out. And drawing 2 encounter cards is bad, but there's no way to stop that. So I guess we're going to start with Tony Stark's AI, because I don't think we want either of these cards. But if that's the case, we could draw deeper with... Actually, one of these is an okay card. Skilled Investigator is maybe worth something. But there's only one more side scheme, so probably not. So the other option we can do is we can draw 1 card deeper and then do Tony Stark to make it a 50-50. 10 progress counters to lethal? Yeah, just about right. So we need to do 9 progress counters because we have 2 here. We just need to do 9 more. Any turn that we jump down, which we could consider with the Confuse, as much as 2 encounter card turns is a bit dodgy, we can also like get extra counter cards, like extra counters. Like jumping down is actually probably good because we get +4 damage every cycle. Also, when revealed in stage 3 and 4 scheme and 3 attack. Yeah, but that's how it usually goes. Those are really big numbers. Again, this is just a weird box. But 4 scheme, 3 attack is massive numbers for any villain, let alone a villain that has other problems that you have to deal with. Okay. So playing Ingenuity when we jump down, I do think we will jump down. Drawing 2 encounter cards while we're jumping down is a bit suspect because this plus this is bad. As much as we have 1 Confuse, we probably shouldn't jump down. Let's be honest. There's a bunch of cards that just say the collector schemes or activates, and that's not good. So what are we doing with our hand? I'd rather spend 2 resources, attack for 2. We need to play the blasters. We can remove threat from this. We can draw a card. So this draws 2 cards. We deck out. Then we can Stark AI. Yeah, that seems fine. So we definitely need to play this Stroke of Genius. So clear the area with Stroke of Genius. So we clear the last scheme from this, the last threat, which means we draw from clear the area. First, we would draw from Stroke of Genius. We did not manage what goes back into our discard pile, but we don't want any of these cards in our discard pile, and we get a counter. We deck out. This is in our discard pile. This is not, I don't think. Yeah. So we get a counter card and we shuffle. Scenario sucks. Love Collector 2 though. Yeah, Collector 2 is way more fun. It has nice theme. You're kind of scared. It's very much also Lord of the Rings. This again is very close to being a very cool scenario. It's really cool that's a thematic scenario that, like, again, shout out to the Civil War villains. This feels like you're doing something. Thanos is designed with a big stat in mind and it works. Collector I always thought was the weak stat, and that's a problem. Yeah, you'd think the Collector would be like weak stats, but then the issue is everything else. Kind of like Hela, but like Hela does actually get really big stats. Shout out to later game scaling. But yeah, usually the scenarios that force you to do something else don't have the strongest villain. This kind of has both. Like, Scheme for 4 is just goofy when there's 10 threat in solo. Again, it was an early design. It's just like cool to talk about it because you see how much the designers learned and also what the feedback from the community was. I mean, he is an elder of the universe. I mean, yeah, he does have the word elder on him. Now we'll do Tony Stark AI. We'll draw 2. Photon Beam is damage. Photon Beam is damage. I'll pick a Photon Beam. Cool. We can play Sector Scan for free. Isn't that so cool? I don't get this card. I mean, you have to build around it, but like they had really good art, so got to put it somewhere. Okay. But these cards don't matter. We're just going to play Photon Beam. We're going to do damage. That's probably... Oh. I want that. Okay, so Photon Beam definitely gets played. So we'll spend 2 for Photon Beam. This functionally does 6 damage. Oh wait, this knocks out Collector. I mean, it's going to have to happen. So we'll play Photon Beam. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. It does defeat Collector, which is perfect. So we get 2 counters. Wait, we might actually have lethal this turn. Yeah, we might have lethal this turn. Deal 4 damage. We get 2 counters. So we have 10 damage here. 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we might actually have straight lethal. Collector 3. Sorry, Collector, not the Collector. So it says, put the top card of each player's deck into the collection. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each card discarded this way. Okay, we lost the Stroke of Genius. Emotionally feels bad. That has 1 threat. Oh, for each card in the collection. That goes to 3 threat. And we only have to do 18 damage. Which currently we have 10 damage, 11, 12, 13, 14 damage. So like we could do this and just like not care about victory, which might be okay because this is going to be a bad turn. We have 3... 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're short 1 damage. Are you serious? I'm sure you guys have talked about it. Just take the limit off of how many cards can be removed from the collection and the scenario is instantly better. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Or if you want to do it another way is just make it so that the 2 different portions of text on the Grand Collection are 2 different ones per rounds. So you can always exhaust and spend 2 resources. You can't do the same one twice, which actually functionally is kind of what you're suggesting, because it's not like you're going to exhaust yourself twice on most board states. But yeah, that also works. Okay, this is us. We can go ahead and use propulsion jets to remove 3 threat from here. We need to remove a card from the collection because we haven't yet. We're definitely going to just go and play 2 for the photon blasters. And we're just going to be able to win next turn if we can survive this round. Adding 3 cards to the collection is not super likely. We recover 2. We're going to exhaust this to do 3 damage to the villain. Cool. We will exhaust ourselves to remove something from the collection. We'll just play Skilled Investigator, I guess. And we'll pass. I don't want to jump down. We technically here have 10, 12 damage. We could have had 14 damage. I think we were short 1 damage. Maybe we could find 1 damage. The thing is, like, it's unlikely for us to get the collection, but we can at least clear this next turn probably, and then just win. We also want to win with no threat on the main scheme. So we have a couple things we can do next turn, but I think we can get a couple pieces of victory. The issue is because we can only remove 1 card a turn. There's no way we can get the victory for only having 1 card in there. Prof, turn the tide. Genius. Hawkeye, clear the area. New and improved. New and improved can go get a 6 damage card, which is nice. It goes to 1. Collector is attacking for 4 and a card. We'll just take it. 4, 5, 6, 7 off a Monarch Star Stalker. I mean, ow. That's 7 damage. And 2 encounter cards. Oh, sorry. Armor Plating. 6 damage. No Milano. Nowhere is safe. Okay. Ooh, good thing is that actually this won't discard a card because we place a pursuit counter, which means we have to go get our nemesis, which adds a fewer cards to the deck. We technically don't have to defeat our nemesis. If we do defeat her in her side scheme, that's more cards in the collection, but I mean, that's fine. So rule by forces here. This will either have a crisis or a, what's it called, an acceleration based off of whether she's alive or not. And Lucia von Bardas was the 2nd card we knocked out. So she's here. She will be getting a toughness. A toughness, because we're going to be ending the round with her on the table. So that's fine. Not really a bad encounter card. Didn't actually go a +1 card. Inconspicuous Box. Man, what a cool name for a card. So the Inconspicuous Box, excuse me, says when revealed, put the lowest cost card face up into the collection. If you cannot, this card gains surge. So thank you for your duty, Skilled Investigator, as much as we could have put the armor plating somehow in a box. Okay. This Neurospike combo PD, I haven't seen it yet. Like, I'm glad that it's doing something in the event and the list is going to be public. It seems a bit cheesy, and I don't know why you can't just score it to 7. Jai, what turn did it pop off on? Nice to see some Riri in action. She's my favorite. Alex, how's it going? Alexis, excuse me. Glad you like her. I haven't played her in a long time, and this is not my deck. Shout out to the deck. It's in the description. It's been pretty fun. She's very, very powerful. I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but yeah, excuse me. Sorry, self-destruct. I just read that beforehand. Okay, so again, all we want to do here is we want to make sure that we can do the thing that we want to do, which is record a unit for each player. We can do that. Record a number of units to a maximum of 3. Each of the cards in the victory display. We have 0 victory in the victory display. That sucks. We can add 1 if we clear Gallery of Splendor, so that could maybe be 2. We can record 1 unit for each player if there are 1 or few cards in the collection. We can't do that. We can remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So the most we're going to get here is 3 victory if we put our mind to it, which will put us at 5, which is enough to get another one of our favorite, upgrades. But yeah, that's it. So we're not going to be getting a lot of victory here, and it's not really in our control. Comboed Zomdraft turn 8 with all flops on the bottom 11. Okay, yeah. I mean, can't he just like steel skin into an Audrey or something? Gallery Splendor, when defeated, place the top card of each player's deck into the collection. So that will put it at 4, which is acceptable because this thing goes into victory. So that'll give us a point. So that's worth doing. So all that we can do here is clear this, which puts 1 in here. We have to remove the threat and we have to defeat Collector. That's all that we can possibly do. Nothing else matters here. Now we only lose if there's 5 cards in the collection. Now, technically, actually, it does matter because this will count which cards are in the collection for the campaign, I think. In the cards in the collection status, record the title of each card in the collection. I'm not sure why that is. Each player must search the deck discard pile and hand for each card they record in the cards in the collection section of the campaign log. Then remove those cards from the game. So we probably should just get Skilled Investigator out there sooner than later. So we'll liberate Skilled Investigator as well. It's dangerous because treacheries can be put in the collection. Some treacheries can, but nothing on this table can. Oh, also if we clear Gallery Splendor, we'll be adding another card into the collection. That's kind of bad. So then we can choose to either not have Skilled Investigator or the other card. We're doing this all for one victory. I mean, I think we should. Okay, so we'll do what we can, which is, again, we have 10 damage here on the table. We just need to figure out how to do 5 damage to the collector. That shouldn't be that hard, right? We have 3 damage on Turn the Tide, which we have to do the thwarting. So yeah, it's okay. So we'll start here. We'll play Clear the Area. How do we do this? We'll start with Tony Stark AI. Do we want a skilled new improved or Grant Ward? I think Grant Ward is fine. It's just 2 damage for 0. That seems good. Especially because there's no implications to his text when the game is over. Okay, so we need to remove both of these. This one we have a 3 thwart burst, so we can do a 3 thwart burst, and then we can just clear it with Clear the Area and draw a card. Actually, what we did was straight wrong. We probably should have put Armor Plating in here, because Skilled Investigator could have fired this turn. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have this card in our deck than the other one if we can't liberate it from the collection. So we're hoping that this collects a bad card that we don't care about. Sonic Gun can deal 3 damage since Collector is confused. Oh my god, I forgot about that. I've never used that text in such a long time. We probably had lethal last turn. Yeah, I forgot. You can use this to deal 3 damage. That being said, it ends up in the collection, which is not great. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. However, the damage would happen first, I think, and then the scenario would be over, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm not sure if it goes to the collection right away. I think we actually just win if the 3 damage is done. But that's cool. That's actually something we might fire this turn. That's a good shout out. Okay, so we're going to use our propulsion jets to remove 3 threat from this. And then we're going to hope this is not terrible. We're going to go ahead and do, I guess, Hawkeye into Clear the Area. And we're going to clear this thing, which a couple things happen. This says it's victory 1. So we got our first victory. That goes here. We're going to draw a card with Clear the Area. It's a strength, I guess. When defeated, which I think would happen after, place the top card of each player's deck into the collection. So we're probably going to liberate a Stroke of Genius over the Skilled Investigator. So that's fine. Okay, so we have only 1 victory. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clear the Stroke of Genius. We can do that just by spending 2 resources. So we'll get rid of our 1 card from the collection. All we need to do now is defeat the collector and clear 1 threat from that. That should not be hard. So to do that, we'll play Grant Ward for free. Hey, bud. You got 3 health. We'll do 3 damage to the collector. Cool. This hand doesn't really matter. We're going to just go ahead and play Prof X, I guess. Cool. We'll double confuse the villain. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to get the status token. I don't even know why I'm getting all these counters, I'll be honest. Then from this point, we will actually thwart 3 on this, which is slightly more damage because we can play Turn the Tide. So we'll make our attack stat functionally 3 into the villain. Cool. So all we have to do now is defeat the collector, and well, we have a lot of damage on the table. We're just going to spend 5 counters off Ironheart 3, and that's going to do 10 damage to the villain. We could have done 2, 4 more damage. That seems good. Villain is defeated. We survived Collector 1. Was it bad? Yes. Did we get lucky? Definitely so. Our deck doesn't have that many upgrades, so we can deal with it. Again, we just can't, like, this is where it's really bad. We drew these 2 cards. If you clear these 2 cards, you're just going to be behind cards in the collection, and there's no way to remove more cards than the collection can collect, right? Like, we only remove 1 a turn, and there's a lot of turns where you add more than 1 card to it. Kind of weird, but strong deck. Big burst, feels good. We set up pretty good, and we still had that plus like 7 card opening start, which always feels fantastic. Now again, we did see a bit of this stuff, so record units. So we have 2 units left over that we did not spend from last round. We get a 3rd unit for just showing up and victorying. Record a number of units for each player to the maximum 3 to the victory values of cards in the victory display. It's only the gallery. All the other cards unfortunately have victory 0, so we're at 4. Record 1 unit for each player if there's 1 or fewer cards in the collection. That's absurd. Never happened. Record 1 unit for each player if there's no threat in the main scheme. 5. And if a card is in the collection section, record the title of each player card in the collection. We'll lose those cards for the next game. So we're going to start with a thinner deck without Skilled Investigator, which is not the worst card. It's a 0 cost card that draws cards. We definitely want to play it, but it's better that we had our resource card. And Badoon Headhunter was not hunted, so we don't have to go get its brother, which is even meaner. And that's going to take us to 5 XP. If you defeated your nemesis and put her into the collection, would you be able to use Face the Past in the next scenario? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it says player card, right? I don't think it, because like it's not going to remove standard or expert or stuff like that. I don't think she's considered a player card. Again, what's the text here? It says each player must search the deck for each card in the record. Yeah, it says search their deck, discard pile in hand for each card recorded. So yeah, that's more important probably, right? As much as maybe it says player card. Cool. Yeah, because our obligation will be showing up because it's not shuffled into our deck. And the cat, what time is it? It's 2 o'clock. So what we're going to do really quickly is we're going to try and spend 5 experience. We also could not spend experience. Next scenario and every scenario later, we're going to have the Milano. So it's relatively straightforward for us to go take one of these cards and still float 1 XP for, you know, whoever you want to float your XP for. This is deal 1 damage to each enemy and 1 damage to the villain. This is remove 1 threat from each scheme and 1 additional threat for the main scheme. These are all quite good. I think I'm going to take the threat one. I think we have enough damage, but the threat is the one that we want to kind of play. So I'm going to spend a whole bunch of experience on hyper thrusters. So we're going to spend 4 of this. We could go ahead and spend 1 experience on another card. The next scenario doesn't have enough tough or stun. I do think we want to make sure we spend some experience in the near future for some of the cards that interact positively with removing stun or tough or stun or confuse. Because if we're going to play against Nebula, she has all that stuff and more. So we're going to have the hyper thrusters, which we'll actually add into our deck this time, which is like a nice change for how we used to do things. And that's it. We should be off into Collector 2, which is a much more fun scenario. It's a lot more straightforward. And it's one of those scenarios where it starts with a lot of threat and you have to remove a threat. So kind of similarly to to Batroc, as much as I like this one a lot more. Now, unfortunately, we've been streaming for about 3.5 hours and it is 2 o'clock. I usually call the stream here, and specifically I have family in town. So I'm going to go ahead and go see all my brother and my sister and go hang out and have a nice Sunday. But thank you so much for hanging out. We will be streaming more. I don't know exactly what time it is during the week, but we did a big stream on Friday where we streamed for like 5 or 6 hours and played through a whole campaign. But the short of the long is there's going to be more content and more live streams at different hours than just Sunday morning. I can't promise you when, but if you do want to subscribe to the channel and hit the notify button, you'll know when we're live, but it'll be at a different weird time. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm trying to figure out my scheduling myself as well. Otherwise, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll could finish this campaign if we wanted to. Hit me up in the comments or in the chat if you want us to finish this campaign, because I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next week. We are making more content than we're prepared to some extent. No chat about new cards. No, we'll probably do that the next time we stream as well. Again, it is 2 o'clock. I intended to do it between game 1 and game 2, but I forgot about it. But we've seen so far like 2 new Daredevil cards and I think 1 or 2 new protection cards, and they're definitely worth talking about. But unfortunately, yeah, it's 2 o'clock. I kind of have to hit the bricks. But that doesn't mean we won't do it. It just means we'll do it next time, right? So yeah. Thanks for the gameplay. It was great. Hey, thanks for dropping in. Thanks so much for everyone hanging out. If you're new to this channel, if you want to take a second to subscribe, if you want to also take a second, even if you're not new to this channel, to leave a like on the video. I promise that's like the easiest way for this channel to grow. It's a huge way to say thanks. I do think in the near future, we're probably going to do some sort of monetization, just like some memberships or something like that to help out in the short term while job stuff gets sorted out. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I look forward to these Sundays a fair bit, and hopefully you do too. Enjoy the rest of your weekend or the start of your week, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care, y'all.